Chapter 1189, The Ruby Cloud Sects. Chapter 1189, The Ruby Cloud Sect. Proofreader, Papatunks. Whoosh. Beneath the sunny and clear sky, Zhuofan darted across the land, his eyes holding a strange light as he used the stars to be his guide. Glancing at the sky, he squinted and smiled. He was getting close to the last of 9 stars' position, close to the one he wished to see. Zhuofan got excited. Ever since he saw the stars inside the black orb, he felt odd, like there was something connecting him with every little thing in the world. He could even see the stars in broad daylight. Senior Sister, Master had us take the purple gold-glazed cup and meet up with Senior Ant's group in Mist City for a treasure competition, to make sure we get our hands on the map to the Nether Sea. But I just don't feel right leaving Junior Sister behind all by herself. And why not? That dumb girl is as plain of talent as she is of strength. Not just I, but even all of you are stronger than her. What's the point in bringing a dead weight? She's just relying on Master's favor to come along and get a share no matter how much in the wrong she is. But Master said so. Quiet. That sickening girl must have strung Master along with her sweet words. All she's good at is sucking up. There's no way I'm about to share credit for such an important mission with her. We'll just say she was too slow and couldn't keep up. Their nagging echoed through the thick forest, reaching Zhuofan's sharp ears. Nether Sea. Isn't that the Nether Sovereign's place? Although I've caught a glimpse of it in the Mortal Domain's world wind tunnels, I had no idea how to enter it. But could such a map be real? Zhuofan paused and rushed over to the forest. He got his clothes in order and casually walked through the vegetation. Russell. Who's there? A sharp cry came as 6 sharp swords glinted as they shot for the bush. Zhuofan felt their bloodthirst before he saw their faces. Zhuofan snickered, but still faked panic. Wait. I lost my way and don't mean any harm. Zhuofan rushed out of the bush, shaking in fear. Before him were 6 pretty girls, all perfect beauties in their own right, yet their cold eyes ruined the image. They sized him up and noticed him in the bone-tempering stage. They sighed with ease and the leader, their senior sister, mocked. You're so old yet only in the bone-tempering stage? Never knew someone like you existed in Sacred Domain. Humph, so weak and yet you're wandering around a forest? A spiritual beast might pounce on you at any time and leave only your bones behind. Very true, I also know this is dangerous, but I have to earn a living. There's nothing else I can do besides picking herbs, huh? Zhuofan gave a silly laugh, his face foolish as his sharp eye inspected their cultivation. Oh, 3 spirit kings, 1 mid-stage, 2 early stage, with the rest being at peak Genesis stage. Quite a strong team. Zhuofan snickered and bowed again, pretending to be confused. Mrs., may I ask you what is up ahead? I've been in this forest for 3 months, unable to come out. A mere bone-tempering cultivator got what he deserves being stuck out here when you can't even fly. The senior sister relished in his predicament, with the other girls shooting him mocking smiles. She said again, feeling proud for some reason, Boy, you're better off turning back before you meet your end in this forest. And don't go any further, lest you want a painful death. Why? Ahead is the Ruby Cloud Sect. The senior sister sneered. Zhuofan exclaimed, his face sinking. I was wondering why this place felt familiar. It turns out to be close to the Ruby Cloud Sect. Humph, I've been following the 9 stars for so many months, ignoring the places I pass, all so I can find my wife. Oblivious to his reaction, or better yet, never even registering anything about Zhuofan's person, the senior sister arched her slim eyebrow and kept on patronizing him. You must have heard as well of my sex rules. Any man that dare come uninvited is to have a fate worse than death. Dying in a spiritual beast's mouth is heaven compared to that. So be smart and get lost, humph. Ha, you think I don't know that? Who doesn't know of those old biddies and their menopause? Zhuofan snickered inside, showing a weird smile on the outside. Does that mean you're all Ruby Cloud Sect disciples? Yes, scared now? The 6 girls thrusted their chest out in pride, their eyes holding nothing but loathing. We're on a mission right now, and even though we're on a tight schedule, you should be honored for us to look after a nobody like you. If you had met our master, he... Clang. Zhufan's smirk grew wider, clenching his fists. If I really had met your master, it would have been really bad indeed. As for you... Zhufan's Qilin arm gave a cold aura. Senior sister, please wait up. A gentle voice sounded and a girl of around 20, dressed in white, huffed as she entered their sights. Just another corpse. Zhufan huffed inside. The others were annoyed. How did this girl even follow us? She's worse than a ghost. Senior sister. The girl giggled as she landed on the leader's side. Why didn't you wait for me and went ahead? I could hardly keep up. The senior sister rolled her eyes in disdain. Junior sister, the road is dangerous and we didn't want you to tire and meet with danger. You should go back. Master cares for you so much and won't punish you for returning. Just say that I told you so. Senior sister, don't say that. We're close sisters, and I can help you when you're in trouble. It's also my very first mission outside the sect. I can't just fail it. The girl was quite lively, totally oblivious to her senior sister's disdain. She was like a sheep raised in the pen that had never braved the dangers of the wild outdoors. Zhufan snickered, giving her a long look. Your senior sisters only think of you when they say you should stay in the sect. The world is fraught with dangers, huh? Zhufan clenched a fist behind him, his eyes gleaming coldly. Hey, who are you? You can also tell they're nice to me? With a pure smile, the girl turned to Zhufan. Zhufan held the same odd smile as he nodded. Yes, they're so nice to send you to hell, but now I see you came for death yourself. Ugh. Zhufan shuddered just then, looking deep in the girl's eyes and felt his heart racing. She's really plain, no amazing beauty, but delicate and innocent. Those eyes gave him a familiar feeling. The girl looked into his eyes at the same time, lost for a moment. Have we met before? What is your name? Zhufan's heart jumped. Qing Cheng. The girl spoke without hesitation, considering Zhufan as one of her friends on the spot. Chu Qing Cheng. Zhufan froze as he took her in fully and muttered like in a dream, Chu Qing Cheng, still the same name. His numb mind looked in the distance, then turned to the girl's lost eyes, the fist behind relaxing as he smiled. Qing Cheng, I found you at last. The rough hands held Chu Qing Cheng's soft cheeks, his eyes looking only at her and appreciating her for who she was with a soft gaze. Chu Qing Cheng showed no revulsion to the stranger. She felt an odd sensation inside, like she knew this man but could not recognize him. Chapter 1190, You Have to Be Mine. Chapter 1190, You Have to Be Mine. Proofreader, Papatunks. Bam. Zhufan drew closer as he held that cute face, but then a palm sent him flying and into the ground. Chu Qingqing jumped and blushed hard as she recalled what happened. Damn punk, you got some nerve going after a Ruby Cloud sect disciple. You must have a death wish. The senior sister started cursing at Zhufan on the ground, about to stomp on his legs for good measure. Chu Qingqing saw it and managed to stop her. Heavens damn it, nosy crow. Zhufan's brow twitched as his anger boiled. The couple finally got together after so many years, but they couldn't even enjoy the reunion as the retarded biddy had to ruin it. Zhufan wanted nothing more than to flatten them to a gooey mush. The only thing holding him back was knowing Chu Qingqing was from Ruby Cloud sect. So he took a deep breath to bottle the rage. It just wouldn't do for the husband to waste his wife's besties in a fit of fury. Why did Chu Qingqing end up appearing in Ruby Cloud sect of all places? Checking the 9 stars direction and recalling the familiar feeling he got from this girl, Zhufan was certain beyond any shadow of a doubt that she was Qingqing, and not just in name either. Making a monumental effort to restrain himself, Zhufan put on a pained look as he crawled to his feet. He saw the angry shrews and raised his hands in a rush to explain. Sisters, please, the striking similarity young miss has with my late younger sister made me lose myself in emotions. It won't happen again next time. Next time? You think you can just touch a lady's face? The senior sister was outraged, about to smash him into the ground again, but Chu Qingqing jumped in. Senior sister, please, he must have loved his sister dearly and didn't know that he was doing something improper. It wasn't with intention, so please don't blame him. Humph, blame him? For what? It wasn't me who he was hitting on anyway. Since you don't care, why should I? The senior sister flicked her sleeve with a snarl, flying away with her other sisters. Let's just go and not waste time with that fool. She deserves being taken advantage of for falling for a rotten man's lies. Senior sister. Chu Qingqing cried after her, but the women were gone, and she hung her head sadly. She then blinked her big bright eyes at Zhuofan. Did you do that because I looked like your little sister, or was it on purpose? Under her hopeful and intense gaze, Zhuofan knew she was looking for comfort, to justify her act of kindness. It would have been so much easier to just nod and play along. While he didn't mind with others, towards Qingqing he could lie. Now that the extras were gone from butting in, he could come clean. No, I really couldn't help myself, but not because of my little sister, since I don't have one. It's because of my lover. Wah. Chu Qingqing went red on the spot, then she glared before turning to leave. I was wrong about you, thinking you were nice, but it turns out you're just like senior sister said. You did it to take advantage of me and end up making them call me a fool. Chu Qingqing looked hurt, following after the women when Zhuofan shouted, Wait. What now? If you try anything, you'll be sorry. Chu Qingqing paused, then looked back at him hesitantly and threatened. Her tone only made Zhuofan chuckle. She's in Genesis stage and I'm in bone-tempering stage, by all appearances, yet she is using that shy tone? How is that normal? Zhuofan shook his head, giving her a long and deep stare. Miss, I was not toying with you, nor did I try to take advantage of you. It's truly because I see you as my lover. My wife died and seeing you resemble her, emotions overwhelmed me. Chu Qingqing started, looking in Zhuofan's honest gaze and blushed as she gave a weak nod. You must really love your wife. Then I won't hold you to what happened. The naive young miss turned around, wanting to leave with the matter settled. Wait. What is it this time? Chu Qingqing paused and looked back curiously. Zhuofan sighed. Miss Chu, I can tell you're a good person. Could you do me a little favor? I got lost in this forest and could you give me a lift? Take you with me? You can't. I guess I can. She looked conflicted, but against Zhuofan's request, she just couldn't find it in her to refuse. She shyly got to Zhuofan's side and looked to see if the coast was clear before she reached out around his waist. I'll fly you out, Jay, just don't move. Chu Qingqing jumped and they were in the air. Pa! Zhuofan took this moment to reach around her waist. Chu Qingqing panicked and blushed harder. What are you doing? Hands off. Miss, I'm a bone-tempering cultivator and I'm scared for my first time flying. With a wide grin, Zhuofan took all the advantage he could. Chu Qingqing was left succumbing to his sly hand and focused on making the trip as short as possible. Pa! At one point, Zhuofan's head up and leaned on the girl's shoulder. Chu Qingqing jerked and cried again, What are you leaning on me for? First time flying is scary. Zhuofan smiled wider, to which Chu Qingqing gaped. She was simply powerless against Zhuofan's slick tactics and reasoning. Despite it all, she still couldn't find a reason to hate him, taking a deep breath to warn instead, Hey, have some manners. Try anything again and I'll drop you. This time Zhuofan went for the kill, moving from simply leaning on her shoulder to hugging outright. Chu Qingqing's heart was in chaos, her cheeks steaming from how red they were. What are you doing? Let me go. No, I'm scared of falling. Closing his eyes, Zhuofan was at peace holding the one person he hadn't seen in 100 years. He was too content to let go. Chu Qingqing was frantic and landed on the ground before someone saw them. She could never let her senior sisters see her like this. It was too damn mortifying. Whoosh! The two touched down, with Zhuofan holding onto her like an octopus. Chu Qingqing's face twitched and snapped. Hey, we're on the ground, now get off. No, you're lying. We're definitely in the air and I won't fall for it, The young miss had met the biggest rogue of them all, with the thickest skin ever as he used every trick to stay glued to her. Chu Qingqing squinted and huffed before she used force, throwing Zhuofan off, hard. He landed on the ground with a bang. Chu Qingqing glared. You definitely took advantage this time and you dare lie to me? Young Miss Chu. Zhuo Fan dusted his clothes before he smiled. Before I answer, would you answer me 2 questions first? Is there anyone you fancy? Zhuo Fan went right ahead before she could reply. Chu Qingqing shook her head. Zhuo Fan smiled. Are you engaged? Chu Qingqing started then shook her head. Why is he asking me this? Great. Zhuo Fan got the answers he wanted and laughed, coming before Chu Qingqing and reached out to hug her close as he looked longingly at her. Now I'll answer yours. I did it on purpose because I like you. You have to be mine. Dong. Chu Qingqing's mind blanked out, her eyes hazy. What on earth is going on? How am I yours just like that? She finally reacted after a few long moments and shoved him. You're crazy. We only met a couple hours ago and I have no idea who you are. I am Zhuo Fan there, now we're no strangers, Qingqing. Come with me. As if I am a Ruby Cloud sect disciple. When it comes to marriage, I have to tell my master. An old crow meddling in my affairs? Qingqing, come with me. No one can stop us. Zhuo Fan shouted, his voice filled with power. Chapter 1191, Annihilating. Chapter 1191, Annihilating. Proofreader, Papatunks. Chu Qingqing gave him a long look, her eyes twitching. She then shook her head and put on a cold face as she walked away. Do you have any idea who my master is, you lunatic? Braggart. I know, one of the 8 emperors, the one called Enchanting Empress, but ever since demonic energy had affected her hard in the battle at 9 Serenity's tomb, she aged. That's why we call her the Crone Empress. Zhuo Fan's eyes shone. Qingqing, come with me and I promise the biddy won't ever get to you. Chu Qingqing covered her ears and shook her head. Be silent. Don't sully my master's name. Just who do you think you are? Those senior sisters of mine are enough to flick the life out of you, let alone master. If you care for your life, stop talking. Not even I can save you then. Save me? Zhuo Fan was touched, beaming. Qingqing, you'd take my side before that biddy? That means you do care about me. So why not come with me? Chu Qingqing hesitated. Me and my big mouth. Just what was with her? Why did she blurt that out? She barely even knew the guy, only finding out his name just now. Her heart was conflicted, while her face icy, glaring back. There'd be no point in the end, not when you're using me to replace your wife. This isn't love. There's no such thing as love at first sight. Now go, I've taken you out of the forest so you're safe. Qingqing, you have to believe me. You are my wife, not a substitute. You and her are one and the same. Zhuo Fan spoke with determination. Chu Qingqing rolled her eyes, laughing. Sure, then chase me. We'll talk again when you catch me. Chu Qingqing pulled a smug look, like she outsmarted him, then flew away. Zhuo Fan smirked. Dear me, if you don't take me flying, I'll just have to do it myself. Everyone says, flying as a couple is so much better, while flying alone is so boring, ha. Zhuo Fan had no trouble going after her, treating it like a game. An hour later, Chu Qingqing was rushing in her senior sister's direction, but having caught no sight of them for so long began to weigh on her mind. Ugh, I'm not strong enough to keep up, and with that delay I'll never catch up. Why can't they just wait for me? Fang Min, as the head senior sister of Ruby Cloud sect, you should be showing at least some remorse seeing your fellow sisters in peril instead of ignoring their fate. Hand over purple gold glazed cup, or else. A coarse laugh echoed across the sky, startling Chu Qingqing. Looking over, she noticed in the distance her fellow sisters surrounded by 24 men in black. 5 of them were even late-stage spirit kings. As for her sisters, all were injured, with 5 taken prisoners and only her head senior sister barely hanging on. Chu Qingqing shot straight for them, striking with a cold palm at the man's chest. How dare you harm my senior sister? Bam! The man snickered and pointed 2 fingers at her. The power between the fingers shot through her cold aura and into her body. Chu Qingqing coughed blood, collapsing on the spot. Ah, The broads of Ruby Cloud sect are so mighty, for even a 7th layer Genesis cultivator to strike me, a peak Genesis cultivator. What a moron. The guy mocked and his team laughed. Fang Min shook her head, glaring at Chu Qingqing. You fool, you saw us surrounded, but instead of going to the sect for help, you charged right in? You thought your meager skill was going to save the day? Senior sister. Chu Qingqing hung her head low, the words wounding her. Fang Min scoffed and shouted at the men in black, arrogant bastards. You knew we're from Ruby Cloud sect yet you still came for us? You've just signed your death warrant. Hee, why do you think we're masked? The leading late-stage Spirit King stepped forward and shouted, we'd much rather avoid having the Crone Empress hounding us till the end of days. If you want to live past today, hand it over and we'll let you go. When we get violent, at the end there's just us, men, and you, girls, ha. The others laughed, showing greedy smiles. Fang Min grounded her teeth, with the other girls putting a tough front when they were all afraid of those creepy smiles. These filthy mongrels don't care. Hesitating, Fang Min was put on the spot. By handing it over, the blame of failure would fall entirely on her. But if she didn't, they would never be able to live with themselves after today. Fang Min was on the fence, weighing her position in the sect or her future. Her eyes wandered back to the depressed Chu Qingqing and lit up. She shot before her and threw a prismatic cup to her. Junior sister, take this and run. I'll hold them off. You can't let me down. Senior sister? Run. Fang Min shouted again, looking ready to die for the cause. Chu Qingqing sniffed and nodded. She took the treasure and ran. She would give her life to protect it, to repay all her senior sister's trust in her. The men in black saw her run off and shouted, Girl, give it here if you don't want a really good time. Whoosh. The men ignored the other girls and shot after Chu Qingqing. Fang Min gave a token of resistance, looking at the frail figure almost overrun with men with a creepy grin. Girl, get back here. Boom. A powerful palm struck at Chu Qingqing from behind. She tensed up and noticed him to be the peak Genesis expert she went after before. Her heart sank. Despite the peril and certain doom, she was set to carry on her sister's mission. Chu Qingqing gnashed her teeth and held the cup tight with one hand, while using the other to launch an attack in reply. The man in black snickered, Ha, missy, you're still acting tough after that defeat? Bam. All they knew was that the guy's power had the clear advantage, yet as the two of them clashed, the man in black up and got pulverized into a bloody mist, his very trace gone from this world. Ugh. The other chasers halted on the spot, looking dumbstruck. No way. How can a 7th layer Genesis cultivator be that much stronger than a peak one to kill him in one shot? Why the hell was she hurt in the first place then? Was it to bait us? The Ruby Cloud sect disciples blinked in disbelief. They knew all too well about their little junior sister's strength, and it was clearly nowhere near that level. That guy was a peak Genesis expert, only beneath a Spirit King. They all had suffered at his blows, yet now everyone was dumbstruck, even Chu Qingqing, staring from her palm to the bloody mist in shock. Was my palm that strong? This never happened before. None noticed a shadow lurking in a bush just off from the conflict, watching. An eye was particularly eye-catching, shining in 8 golden rings. Divine Eye of the Void 8th stage, blink. Zhuo Fan muttered as he put away the fingers, his smile cold, sending a move through space, right in front of the opponent before they react is in the realm of a Spirit King's spatial control skill, catching anyone off guard, haha. Zhuo Fan glanced at the stunned Fang Min, his face hard. This woman knew Qingqing couldn't handle them yet still handed over the treasure and faked holding them. What a twisted heart. She did it to save her skin and shirk responsibility for failure, letting Qingqing take the fall. For messing with my wife, her fate is death. Qingqing might look innocent as a lily now, but her man ain't just going to turn the other cheek. Chapter 1192, Killing a Spirit King. Chapter 1192, Killing a Spirit King. Proofreader, Papatunks. Girl, you've been holding out on me. Once the reality of the situation sank in, an aged man in black shot forth as he released his deadly aura. Never would I imagine that I'd have to step in against some lousy girls. Now it's time for you to join my brother. The man raised his hand and the air around Chu Qingqing warped. Chu Qingqing cried out, "A spirit king. I may be at the early stage, but I'm a spirit king nonetheless. Against a 7th layer Genesis cultivator like you, it's more than enough. You can hide as much power as you want, but it still won't touch upon a spirit king's might, ta." The man's eyes shone with pride. Chu Qingqing's face grew hard, her heart sinking as she took out a 12th grade spiritual sword as she stood on high alert to all movement around her. However, the trembling gave her unsettled mind away. Deep down she knew an attack could come from anywhere, especially since she was up against a spirit king who could control the space around her. What was she to do? She was wound tighter than a violin, tense and anxious. The men in black snickered at her being so jumpy. The spirit king laughed and grabbed, "Say good night, girl." Whoosh! The space shifted just then and a rain of arrows launched for Chu Qingqing. She panicked, her face paling. A spirit king could attack out of the blue, giving her no time to react. She clutched the spiritual sword harder, feeling like she was about to fall. "Qingqing!" Her fellow sisters shouted in worry. Wounded as they all were, they had no hope of providing any help, only staring helplessly as their little junior sister was about to meet her end. Whoosh! The downcast Chu Qingqing up and vanished from everyone's sight, leaving the arrows to miss their target. The Spirit King shouted, "Where is she?" "Above." From behind his cozy little bush, Zhuofan grinned to himself as his right eye shone in one golden halo. Divine Eye of the Void First Stage, Shift. Chu Qingqing popped back into their sights just half a meter above the Spirit King's head, looking as dull as ever. What just happened?" The man in black panicked, his eyes filled with confusion. "What was that? I had control of the entire space, so why did this chick appear next to me without me sensing her? Just who am I dealing with here?" The guy and Chu Qingqing shared an equally dumb look of stupefaction, forgetting who they were. The rest just stared at them like statues. Chu Qingqing's sisters were overwhelmed. What supreme skill was that? How did she do that? The Spirit King clearly didn't notice her either. One senior sister cried out, "Qingqing, now's your chance, attack." Chu Qingqing woke up from her daydreaming at long last. Right? She couldn't get a better shot than this, and slashed down. The Spirit King had no way of taking on a 12th grade spiritual weapon with his body and surviving. Chu Qingqing perked up and went for his head. The man reacted fast, flicking his sleeve and revealing sharp fingers as they aimed to grip Chu Qingqing's wrist. With his power, it wouldn't stop as a mere seizure of the hand, but breaking it completely. The girls sighed inside. Even with Qingqing so strong, a Spirit King still has the upper hand even at such close distance. Their gap in experience shows. Chu Qingqing knew this as well and her heart sank. For some very peculiar reason though, the man's claw and the entire arm up and got flung in the air as it sprayed blood everywhere. The guy was frozen stiff with an utter dumbfounded look in his eyes. What the name of all that's wholly going on here? Can anyone explain it to me? He would never get to know the truth, not like anyone here knew anyway. As he lost his golden chance to stop Chu Qingqing, her sword came down with ease. The Sword King got split in two, his innards and spilling out like molasses, soaking the dirt in his blood and guts. His separated eyes were still as confused as before, unable to unravel the profound mystery of his deaths. The shock outcome was so great everyone was in denial of what they saw. Chu Qingqing handling a peak Genesis expert was unexpected but understandable, somewhat, but doing it to someone a stage above. That guy had shed the mortal coil and became a Spirit King. And yet he got done in with a sword, something not even a peak Sword King could do. Everyone's eyes twitched as they looked at Chu Qingqing in fear and confusion. Her senior sisters as well were slack-jawed with popping eyes. The late Spirit King and leader of the men landed before Chu Qingqing. While his features were covered, The cloth couldn't hide the naked bloodthirst in his eyes. Appearance is an illusion. A chick like you looks harmless as a puppy, yet a true expert hides underneath all that facade. He cupped his hands to her, shouting, "Please oblige me a few moves, young miss." He unleashed his power and the space all around started fracturing. The men in black cried out and cheered. Chu Qingqing was shocked to the core, forcing herself to breathe under that stifling power. Even as it pushed against her, she managed to stand still. The man grew grave. "Young miss, you're not going to show your true strength? You showed great power by dispatching my people with frightening ease, yet you can't even handle my pressure?" He ramped up the aura by a third. Chu Qingqing coughed and sank to one knee, feeling like something was crushing her. The others were mocking her. "These broads are something but not enough for our boss. He's the strongest, huh?" The leader never left Chu Qingqing out of his sight, on high alert. The two deaths before were just too bizarre. "Curses, you dare mess with my woman?" Zhuo Fan wore a cold smile. "Since you insist on wanting me to step in, then you better be ready for it." Zhuo Fan's right eye flashed in 8 golden rings. Divine Eye of the Void 8th stage, blink. Chu Qingqing felt uplifted out of the blue, the pressure gone as she stood back with ease. She was perplexed. Did he stop? Looking around, though, told a different story. The air around her was still shimmering, the grass beneath her was flattened and the rocks pulverized, yet 10 meters around her was right as rain. Chu Qingqing was stumped. What's he playing at this time? The guy cracked up and looked ready to fight. "So you're finally giving your all? Let's do this then, young miss." See that? She's standing under the boss pressure. Only spirit kings can do that. Yeah, that's why she killed 2 of our strong men, because she's on another level. We were too careless, taken in by her average appearance, when she was nothing but a spirit king expert. She must have been baiting us for the right moment to take the treasure back. The other men in black bobbed their heads, commenting on Chu Qingqing's performance. She must be the real head senior sister of Ruby Cloud sect to guard the treasure. Fong Min's face twitched and ground her teeth. This lousy brat. This is absurd. I'm the real head senior sister here. Chapter 1193, Shadow. Chapter 1193, Shadow. Proofreader, Papatunks. Ignoring the comments, Chu Qingqing was tense enough as it was due to the opponent's challenge. But she still raised her sword to point it at him and look tough. "Come. I'll never hand over the purple gold glazed cup. Neither do I want you to, for it will be the winner's spoils." The leader's hand released a gray energy, his eyes sharp as they made the young miss cower. Whoosh! Before the leader even got to strike, however, Chu Qingqing's sword acted first. A sharp sword energy went by the leader's head, striking another spirit king somewhere behind. Blood spurted everywhere as the victim was removed from this world. Ugh! The leader stiffened, frozen on the spot as if he regarded Chu Qingqing like a monster or a creature beyond any comprehension. He had no time to even flinch as the attack flew dangerously close to his own head before taking down a brother of his. Just an inch to the side and it'd have been him instead. Gulp. The leader was sweating buckets just as he saw the young miss looking perplexed at what transpired. Her sword moved by itself. Whoosh! Chu Qingqing's sword acted up again, sending another sword wave, whizzing past the leader's scalp to pop another spirit king into a cloud of bloody mist. Everyone shuddered as they jumped back, looking at Chu Qingqing like she was a devil. A twitch of the sword nailed one down. Such simplistic and efficient killing was that of an expert killer. What was even worse, she was mocking their leader, the one she was actually facing while culling them instead. Just how outrageous is this chick's power to even slight a late-stage spirit king? Is she an emperor? As blood leaked out of a slight cut on the leader's cheek, he now saw Chu Qingqing with nothing but fear. He never saw a faster sword in his life. The girl wasn't innocent by a long shot. The strikes were shot with brutality, meant to execute with impunity. "And miss, who on earth are you?" Unable to get even his voice under control, The leader shuddered in front of Chu Qingqing's guileless gaze. Chu Qingqing mused, then replied according to the custom, with cupped hands, I am Ruby Cloud Sect 362nd Generation Disciple, Chu Qingqing. May I know who you are? 362 indeed, the youngest? How do you have such power and skill? Incapable of getting an answer, the leader frowned in thought. He regarded Chu Qingqing again with utter shock now. Teats. A shadow grew behind Chu Qingqing, dark and shifty, and he only realized it now thanks to his Spirit King level cultivation. The force he felt from it left him weak in the knees and he staggered back. He hastily cupped his hands. I am in awe of Miss' incredible feat of strength. We'll meet again if fate wills it. Let's go. The leader waved and was the first to flee for his life, his back soaked. The rest of his men were right behind him. The Missy must be really something for the boss to choose retreat over attacking. Chu Qingqing was absolutely perplexed, just saluting back on reflex. Yeah, later. Humph, what frickin' later. You came for a fight, so don't think of getting out alive. Chu Qingqing didn't care about them, while Zhuo Fan snickered from his cozy little bush. Chu Qingqing's shadow shot out and her sword acted up again. Whoosh! A sword energy flew at the men in black, running through the chests of 3 people. Pluck. They all turned to a bloody mist, all Genesis stage experts. The leader snapped at Chu Qingqing, Miss, we never touched any of your people. We're even leaving yet you would be so cruel as to kill us, fleeing men? No, it's the sword. Chu Qingqing looked hurt at the accusation, lamenting as she turned to her sword. Her words got cut off, literally, as her sword had a mind of its own. Sword energy flew galore, each robbing a wail of agony from a man in black, along with his life, sending them to the great beyond. The leader looked at the heavy casualties and roared, Curses, this chick is an oddity and bloodthirsty like a banshee. Run, we'll pay her back later. Well, aren't you a ray of sunshine, so optimistic? Humph, there won't be any loose ends. Whoosh. Zhuo Fan flicked from his bush with an insidious smile. Chu Qingqing's shadow moved her hand and sent more sword energy flying, making it so it was all her doing. The sky was filled under the gaudy lights of the sword waves, soon covering the ground in fresh and bloody corpses for the new grass to grow. The Ruby Cloud Sect disciples looked startled. Since when was junior sister Qingqing so cruel? Chu Qingqing watched as lives were mowed down like grass on the verge of tears, shouting, Stop, please stop. No can do, Qingqing. I'm ending this here and now for your sake. Zhuo Fan muttered from the bush. Chu Qingqing held the sword with both hands, trying her best to get it under control. She cried, Stop this instant or I will cripple my meridians. Without my Yuan Qi you can't do anything. Zhuo Fan listened at last, with a shake of his head. Fine, since you said so and if it'll make you happy. Chu Qingqing's shadow settled and the flood of sword energy slowed down to a halt. Though only 3 men in black remained, including the leader. Glancing back at the she-demon, the wretched thieves ran for their lives while the girl was downcast. They came here thinking it was an easy gig, but luck had it they got almost all of their men killed. We need backup to deal with this hell spawn. The Ruby Cloud Sect disciples glanced at Chu Qingqing, slumped on the ground, with dull eyes. They couldn't recognize her, only feeling fear. Senior sister, are you all right? I kept the purple gold glazed cup safe. Chu Qingqing jumped back to her feet like nothing happened, beaming at the girls. You're all hurt. Want me to heal you? Pa. Fang Min yanked the cup from Chu Qingqing's hand and mocked as a form of thanks. Little junior sister, you sure kept to yourself all this time. But now you showed us. Without your help today, junior sister, our lives would have been forfeited. All of us are so useless, needing junior sister's protection. Senior sister, don't say that. It's my duty. Chu Qingqing was worried as she spoke obliviously to the sarcasm. Senior sister, why aren't you pleased that we have overcome this disaster? Fang Min chuckled with scorn. Oh, I'm pleased as punch, of junior sister's glorious future. You alone had finished off 24 people and many spirit kings among them, making us fall short. But junior sister, when did you become so cruel to kill people on a whim? We all saw them leaving, so why did you go after them still? If I didn't know any better, you'd have to be from Devil Mountain then Ruby Cloud sect. Senior sister, I really didn't want to kill them. It was my sword. It just moved? That's rich. Fong Min snickered, her tone biting and mean. Sisters, let's keep going. We don't need to worry about little junior sister anymore. She has an almighty independent divine sword and can do away without our help. Fong Min was the first to fly off, with the others taking healing pills before giving Chu Qingqing looks of fear and then following. Chu Qingqing was left alone and in guilt, looking at her baffling spiritual sword with conflicted emotions. She liked the sword for coming to her and her senior sister's rescue, but hated it for going out of control and isolating her from her senior sisters. It was never the sword, however, but a man, the one wearing a creepy smile just off to the side in a bush. Chapter 1194, An Emperor Joins. Chapter 1194, An Emperor Joins. Proofreader, Papatunks. Chu Qingqing lowered her head, depressed, looking at her sword with a sigh. Senior sisters are wrong about me. I'm no killer. They have the treasure and might meet other mean people. Chu Qingqing started and spoke to her spiritual sword. Cerulean, we have to protect senior sisters, but you have to behave and not kill whenever. You have to listen or... Chu Qingqing's voice drifted, not knowing how to threaten her rampant spiritual sword, or I'll just get another one. Ding! The sword slightly shook in ridicule. You call that a threat? Besides, that wasn't me, so why are you threatening me? Humph. The oblivious Chu Qingqing was deaf to her spiritual sword, of course, looking relieved as she chased after her senior sisters. Ah, save me. Someone save me. A sudden cry reached her ears. She also heard the sharp shriek of a bird. Chu Qingqing looked back in panic. 100-meter big bird, covered in blue flames, was holding a man in its beak. 8th level spiritual beast, Firestorm Eagle. Chu Qingqing shouted, how did this guy end up caught by a spiritual beast like this? Cerulean, let's go save him. Chu Qingqing shot for the 8th level spiritual beast and slashed. Bam! A white sword wave hacked into the blue flames, freezing the air and making the fire fizzle out. The spiritual beast cried out, and Zhuo Fan used this chance to get out of its beak. The spiritual beast didn't fight the girl, choosing to flee instead. Chu Qingqing beamed, then recalled Zhuo Fan and went to him, only to find his legs sticking out of the ground. Chu Qingqing grabbed one at random and pulled. Sorry, I was so focused on the fight with the beast I forgot about you. Are you alright? Ha, I'm perfect. I am in the bone tempering stage after all and won't die from something as simple as falling. Zhuo Fan grinned and wiped his face of dirt and dust. Qingqing, thanks for saving me again. It must be in the stars to meet. We have to be fated to be together. Chu Qingqing's face fell and through him. Humph, a scoundrel only knows how to spew lies. I wasted my time saving you for nothing, you're just trying to make your move on me. I should have just let that bird eat you. You'd never, since you can't go on without me. Zhuo Fan was sickeningly corny. Though he was also right as his words made Chu Qingqing blush, her heart racing. She shook her head of those random emotions and gave a smirk. You're nothing to me, braggart, so why would I ever stick around with you? Humph, now off you go, Shu. I still need to find my senior sisters. Bye. Chu Qingqing left. Ah. Zhuo Fan howled and his forehead was covered in sweat, straining to speak. Qingqing, don't worry about me, just do what you have to do. Leave me here in the wild outdoors for another strong spiritual beast to come around and take a bite out of me, again. I won't blame you, since you don't care about me. Just go do you. Chu Qingqing looked back to see Zhuo Fan grimacing and looking pale while his leg bled. Chu Qingqing rushed over and took out a gauze to bandage him. Weren't you a bone-tempering cultivator? Why did you get a broken leg from falling? It's that spiritual beast who snapped it in its beak. Zhuo Fan gasped. Bone-tempering stage isn't enough to withstand those sharp fangs. Here, a healing pill from my sect. She fished out a vial in a rush and fed Zhuofan a pill. Chu Qingqing's heart felt forlorn for some reason, but as we're all Genesis experts, we only got pills for internal wounds. It will take a week to heal your leg as is. Zhuofan nodded, looking distressed. Not moving for a week, I'll be a sitting duck for spiritual beasts to gobble me up. Stop saying that. You'll be fine with me around. Chu Qingqing glared at him, but then she looked in the direction her fellow sisters went. Zhuofan smiled. Qingqing, aren't you going after your senior sisters? Just go and forget about me. How can I just leave you with your leg like this? Puffing her underwhelming chest, Chu Qingqing spoke with honor and righteousness, but then she hoisted Zhuofan's arm and helped him up on her back, smiling. Isn't this better? I'll carry you to find my senior sisters and let you down in a safe place. That's mighty clever of you. Zhuofan lit up and nodded. Chu Qingqing smiled in pride. Of course, now let's go. The two were gone like the wind, but the pure girl failed to notice the big eagle looking at them from a distance. Thank heavens that prick is gone. Brother, what's with that cut on your back? Another eagle shrieked in teasing, many times bigger. Did a human play with you? Want bro here to set them straight? The first eagle flayed its wings and squawked, looking panicky. No, definitely no. Please don't. I never want to see that guy again. Is he that tough? From the wound, he doesn't look much to me. The slash barely dented your feathers. You know nothing. It's not the sword wielder, the tough one, but the guy forcing me to hold him in my beak. Its eyes were filled with fear as he recalled Zhuofan's black orbs. Its feathers even trembled from terror. The bigger eagle looked stumped. Who on earth did this guy meet to make him shake like a leaf? The escaping men in black arrived at a barren mountain, where a refined elder was enjoying his tea in his chair. The three men in black slumped weakly at the old man's side, bowing. Clan head. Well, where is it? Clan head, we failed to take it and suffered heavy casualties. The leader hung his head. Crack. The cup broke in the old man's hand, his voice laced with fury. Failed? More than 20 experts and a late-stage spirit king failed? Weren't they just 7 girls? You couldn't even deal with them? Are you morons or simply garbage? Clan head. The others shivered, with the leader speaking. Clan head, let me explain. 6 of them were nothing, but the last girl was simply horrible. She killed without blinking and had an uncanny power about her. None of us could handle her. Even WW would have ended up dead if we were any slower. The old man eyed them and rose from his chair, his eyes sharp. For you, a late-stage spirit king, to fail against her, then she must be something else. That leaves only me to step in. Clan head, you're going to go after them yourself? The demonic emperor entrusted us with this task, and I'm not about to botch it. The old man snapped back. If just one of you had shown even a bit of promise, I wouldn't have deigned to steal from some nobodies. The old man covered his face with black cloth. The demonic emperor said not to harm anyone if possible, as to not stir up the old hag. All that matters is that we ruin their deal in Miss City. Let's go. Yes. They all got excited. With the clan head stepping in, that girl is finished. He is a mighty expert in the sacred domain, a true emperor. Chapter 1195. Imperial Descents. Chapter 1195. Imperial Descent. Proofreader, Papatunks. Whoosh. Under a clear sunny sky, the 6 disciples of Ruby Cloud sect were the only ones flying. The leader had a nice face, but the grimace ruined her image. The head senior sister looked angry all the time these past 3 days. One looked worried. Senior sister, aren't we going too fast? There's been no sight of junior sister all this time. Maybe she's lost? Humph, a spirit king is beneath her, but she can't catch up? She must have been playing around since it's her first time outside the sect. Why do you care? Fong Min spat with venom. The disciple's heart shrank but still tried. Yeah, it's her first time this far from the sect and might not know the way. Should we leave her some signs to follow? You talk too much. Fang Min barked. That girl's so tough now, so why would she need your care? Are you leaving signs so the enemy can find us instead? Is that it? The girl shrank under head senior sister's harsh stare. Fang Min glared at her, then looked back ahead, brooding and furious as they went on. Boom! A sudden pressure came out of nowhere over them and their flight was cut off, falling to the ground. An aged voice laughed from everywhere. Ha! You think I need some signs to find you? Whoosh! 50 men in black landed before them, with 20 spirit kings among them. Their leader wore black, his scary eyes making the girls tremble. Imperial descent, he's an emperor. Fang Min gasped, full with dread as she looked at the older man. Her heart was beating so hard it might jump out of her chest. The other girls could barely breathe. The old man mocked. Juniors of the Ruby Cloud sect, I'd rather avoid having any real altercation with that biddy, so hand over the purple gold glazed cup. I'll be letting you all go without harming one hair on you. What do you say? As a mighty emperor, Senior must be of great renown in sacred domain. Why would you lower yourself to some petty theft, ack? Fang Min tried the diplomatic way, her tone shaky, but an even stronger pressure descended and forced her to shriek and cough blood. The old man snickered. We all have our sordid past, or do you not already see our covered faces? Girl, give it here and we'll be out of your hair, no fuss no mess. But if it gets to it, I'll just have to pry it from your cold, dead hands. The girls tensed, all looking towards Fang Min and awaiting her decision. Head senior sister, what do we do? Senior. Fang Min's eyes darted around, smiling. Sorry, but you're getting ahead of yourself. You really want me to kill you all? Huh, kill us? Fang Min laughed in his face. Senior, you got me all wrong. I'm not so stupid to fight the impossible. The treasure just isn't with us. You can just kill us and see for yourself. The old man's face twitched as he gave her a hard look. Not on you? Do you think I'll buy that? Search ahead then. Fang Min grinned as she forced her feet under her, taking out her storage ring. I'll go first. All I have is in there. Take a look. Why, still don't believe me? Huh, you can just search me as well? Fang Min started undressing under the fixed gaze of the old man. As her dress grew lighter, her curves grew more obvious. The other guys behind were enchanted. Many gulped and drooled, having forgotten about some lame treasure, engrossed in having her take off everything. That took priority by far. Senior sister. Her fellow disciples were tense and jittery. When senior sister finishes, it won't be us next, will it? We'll now lose both the treasure and our purity. What is senior sister thinking going so far? All right. Fang Min was left in a most enticing and revealing inner garment when the old man stopped her. His men hung their heads at having lost a good show, whining inside. Clan head, can't you mind the timing? Only just a bit more. I know you're withered, but you could at least think of everyone else. The old man already believed this last somewhat for going so far, not even bothering with the throne ring as he shouted, I'll believe you for now, but if you don't have it, who does? My junior sister? Your junior sister? Junior sister is the strongest, so the treasure can only be in her care. We're nothing but bait. Even if you kill us, you won't get anything out of it. Fang Ming held out her head. The old man looked back at the previous leader and he attested, Clan head, the strongest girl is indeed not here. They must have split up and had her deliver the treasure. Where is she? The old man fixed his gaze back on Fang Min. Speak and you may go. Otherwise. Fang Min paused. 3 days ago, after the attack, junior sister took a different route, just to be safe. I have no idea where she could be by now. You could just trail back and maybe still find some clues. Find some trackers and get me her direction. The old man's piercing gaze never left Fang Min. Girl, lie to me and I'll be back at any time to send you all to hell. Let's go. He shot into the sky, gone like the wind. The rest gulped and gave the 6 pretty girls one last look before leaving as well. Even with all the danger gone, the girls still looked to be in despair. Getting dressed again and picking up her ring, Fang Min had a smile of utter scorn on her face. Humph, here's what you want, you old fart. Come and get it. Senior sister, are they gone? Will they come back? One girl was still shaken up from the deadly pressure even now. Fang Min grew grave. Yeah, once he finds junior sister doesn't have the purple gold glazed cup, he'll be sure to storm back. Sisters, we're detouring to Miss City. Leave not a trace of your energy on your way so they can't find us. Yes, head senior sister. They all cupped their hands, but then one girl shyly said, what about little junior sister? When they do find her, that's her problem. It was either sending them after her or us dying instead. What would you prefer, her or us? Fang Min snapped a cold glare on her, shutting her up. She had a cruel smile as she then took the lead, all the rancor eating her up these past days gone. Girl, you won't be missed, Humph. 5 days went by, with a girl carrying on her back a thin man and taking a totally different path from Fang Min's group. In flying she spoke her worries. Zhuo Fan, is Mist City this way? Why haven't we met with the others yet? Not to worry, my sense of direction is perfect. Zhuo Fan grinned, feeling warm and gooey inside as he gazed upon her adorable and worried face. Perfect direction? Huh. Well, of course, I've been roaming the sacred domain for ages that I know it like the back of my hand. While omitting the fact I'm taking the wrong way is a different story. Rather than catch up to those third wheels, a world just for the two of us is so much better. Chapter 1196, Hellish. Chapter 1196, Hellish. Proofreader, Papatunks. It had been a week already, yet no sign of the girls as Chu Qingqing carried Zhuo Fan with ragged breath. Worry plagued her innocent heart, making her not stop for even a second all this time. Even for a Genesis stage expert, the long travel took its toll. Zhuo Fan was feeling a bit guilty, wiping her sweaty brow. Qingqing, my leg is healed now. Let's take a rest. No, I've yet to catch up to my senior sisters. We can't stop now. It will only make us lag further behind. Chu Qingqing was stubborn. You won't ever catch them, not by taking the wrong way at least. Zhuo Fan sighed. Qingqing, what difference does it make if we can't reach them? They're faster than you anyway, so there's no way you can catch up. Aren't you going to just meet up in Miss City? You'll just see them there, so just take it easy. But this is my first time outside the sect. How should I know where Miss City is? Don't you have me for something this simple? I'll show you the way. Chu Qingqing started, looking back. Weren't you out looking for herbs? Won't I give you more trouble for guiding me all the way to Miss City? Zhuo Fan chuckled. What does it matter? I'm just a drifter. We'll just go to Miss City, then you can drop me off on your way back. Oh then, thanks. Qingqing's cheeks went pink thinking she would carry him back as well. Though her heart did not seem to mind it. Zhuo Fan snickered, his breath tickling her ear. You don't want to carry me? Chu Qingqing blushed harder, shaking her head. Would you carry me then? The guy was taking all the advantage he could from her back, making her flustered. Then hold me all my life, all right? Zhuo Fan spoke in an emotional and heavy tone. Chu Qingqing shuddered, her mind blanking out as she stared deep in those black and tender eyes of his. She just did not know where Zhuo Fan's confession even came from to say something like that. Zhuo Fan looked at her with nothing but love, leaned over and pecked her lips. Dong. Chu Qingqing froze solid, her mind blown away. Feeling the strange yet familiar male scent, her heart raced. With one shudder they both fell to the ground. Each left a 2-meter wide hole. Chu Qingqing crawled out of hers, panicky and blushing, looking over as Zhuo Fan held on the edge of his hole. Why you're just toying with me again? Yeah, sorry, I just can't help it, hee. Zhuo Fan scratched his head, yet showed no remorse as he smiled. Since I took unfair advantage, why don't you do the same? I'll even let you kiss me for 10 whole minutes. I won't mind it one bit either. Why you're so crude. Chu Qingqing glared at him and walked out on him. I'm ignoring you. Qingqing, don't go. You don't know the way, so let me guide you. I don't need you. I can just ask someone, Humph. Fan snickered as he gestured for the way ahead. Chu Qingqing had lost faith in this rascal, huffing and flying into the air in anger. Fan scratched his head. Too soon? Was I pushing things too hard? Guess it's not easy chasing girls. I just can't understand how Qingqing stood so loyal for 10 years and endured so much bitterness. Guess I get what I deserve now, with me doing the chasing this time. Fan sighed. Let's see what I should use this time for our next meeting. Last time I was getting chewed by an eagle, so that's out. I'm in the bone tempering stage, so I can't just go after her. Whoosh. Fan was going through his bag of tricks to hook girls when black streaks flew overhead and darkened the sky. Thanks to his meager cultivation, he was ignored by these powerhouses. Fan, however, grew grave from their direction of flight. How did they catch up so fast? Qingqing is all alone, so they should be looking after those broads instead, take their stuff and just leave. So why are they here again? Casting blame. Fan vanished the next second. Damn it, they even have an emperor with them. I won't be able to hide this time. Chu Qingqing kept flying and cursing in anger. Rotten evil Fan, you only know how to toy with me. Senior sister was right, there's no trusting any man. They're all evil. Boom. A resounding boom echoed, followed by an unearthly pressure slamming into her and sending her crashing into the ground. Rumble. An even bigger explosion echoed as a crater half a mile wide sprouted, kicking up dust. Chu Qingqing coughed blood and looked pale. Men in black landed in her sights, the leader being an old man. Her? She doesn't look like anything, yet she killed 24 people? Clan head, don't let her cultivation fool you, she is a freak. The ex-leader whispered in his ear. Chu Qingqing strained her waned face, only to cough blood again. Why you again? Girl, hand over the purple gold glazed cup, or I'll give you a fate worse than death. Purple gold glazed cup. Chu Qingqing looked confused. I don't have it, but I wouldn't give Ruby Cloud Sect's treasure even if I did. The old man scoffed. Very well. Bam. Chu Qingqing was sent flying from a kick to the gut. She jerked and coughed more blood, mixed with her innards. How weak, just at Genesis stage. The old man frowned, looking back in doubt. Is she the same expert that had you scared out of your minds? I don't see it. The man's face twitched, hanging his head. Clan head, maybe she's not herself today, up on bricks? Pa. The old man smacked him hard. You think it's funny? The old man snorted. The other man lowered his head, cursing Chu Qingqing to high heaven. Damn girl, where has all that fire gone? Give me something, even a tenth, so that I can prove to clan head my mission failed for a very good reason. As it is now, I'm only being rebutted. There's no way we can prove our failure now. I'll deal with you later. Yes. The old man glared at him before turning to Chu Qingqing. The ex-leader looked like a kicked puppy, on the verge of crying. The old man reached the girl and raised his foot. Lass, you killed my men, so I can't let you go like the rest. Since you're so obstinate, I'll crack open that skull of yours before looking for the treasure on your body. The old man stomped. A mighty pressure fell on her face, heralding certain doom. Chu Qingqing felt her weakened body growing heavy and her heart sinking. Am I going to die? There's so many things I want to do. I don't even know my purpose in life, so how can I just... Boom. Her eyes closed just as the old man stomped a huge crater in front of her a mile wide. When the dust settled, the old man shook, his head whipping in another direction and shouting, "State who you are. You don't need to know it for where you're going." A pitch-black figure appeared in the roaming dust, its voice eerie and chilling. Even these criminals used to getting their hands dirty felt their hearts seizing from the hellish feeling. Chapter 1197, Imperial Mark. Chapter 1197, Imperial Mark. Proofreader, Papatunks. All heads turned to where the wind blew, on edge. Even the old man was cautious, taking back his foot. When all dust cleared, they saw a thin man holding a barely alive Chu Qingqing. The men in black gasped. He saved her from under clan head's nose without any of us noticing anything. He's a true expert. The old man's eyes shone, his voice low. At least it makes my trip worthwhile knowing there's someone that can take me on. Zhou Fan traced Chu Qingqing's unconscious face, looking dark as he turned to the rest. Geezer, you must be rushing to die going after her. Humph, pretentious fool, at least you have skill to save someone from my attack. Though having an unconscious girl weighing you down won't be of much help. Whoosh. The old man looked smug with his smile, but then he heard whistling sword waves, instantly ripping apart 10 spirit kings. So fast. Everyone gasped in fright. The old man froze as well, unable to believe what he saw. How is his sword energy so fast that I couldn't even see it? It's beyond even sword Emperor Ao Changqian's imperial sword wins. What the hell are you? The old man finally revealed fear in his voice for the first time. Zhou Fan grinned, with the ex-leader in black exclaiming, now I get it. Clan head, he had to be the one who struck us before, not the girl. He's the monster. Bam. His head got split in two like a melon. Zhou Fan smiled, who sent you and why? They all gulped, the only sound in the deathly silence. The other men were horrified, glancing at the clan head for any signs of what to do. The old man was sweating now, thinking of a way out. Zhou Fan shook his head, since you can't even answer, I have no further use for you. Heaven's sealing sword art, space seal. Zhou Fan flicked his hand and the space took on a cold glint, with all of the others stuck in place. What is this? A spirit king? Their hearts jumped in their chests. The elder looked grave, barely budging even as an emperor. With his movements slowed down so much, he began to feel the danger. He's no average spirit king to be able to freeze fellow spirit kings and even an emperor. Just what is he? Why haven't I heard of anyone like him in all my years in sacred domain? Zhou Fan grinned, well, feel like talking now? You can opt for silence, but there'll be nothing left of any of you to even bury you. Who was it that said she's weighing me down? I don't even need to go all out against the likes of you, huh? Zhou Fan drew out 2 fingers, the air warping from the violent forces gathering at the tips. Wait! The old man shouted in a panic, I'll talk. I don't think Sir is from Ruby Cloud sect, nor do I know why you got involved in this, but I don't think you'll tell me either way. But still, no one wants to butt in the issues of the 8 emperors, I reckon. Zhou Fan nodded. The old man looked relieved at his attitude. We are under the demonic emperor, tasked to go after the Ruby Cloud sect disciples and get the purple gold glazed cup. The treasure auction in Mist City has a map of the Nether Sea that everyone wants. It points the way to the Nether Sovereign's home, with the promise of becoming a sovereign, or at least a saint. By taking the Ruby Cloud sect's treasure, it could no longer participate in the bidding, giving us one less opponent to worry about. Oh, pretty much what I figured as well. Zhou Fan nodded, flicking his hand, letting the violent energy expand everywhere. The frozen people evaporated on contact. 50 experts died just like that. The old man cried in anger, What are you doing? I told you everything, so why? You did, but I don't recall ever saying I'll let you go. With a sinister smile, Zhou Fan said, You hurt Qingqing and expect to live? Huh. The old man ground his teeth, his eyes bloodshot. This is absurd. I didn't want to get involved with you for fear of suffering pointless casualties. Did you really think that an emperor like me would be scared of a mere spirit king? Boom. The old man shook and flew out of the frozen space. He started making signs and golden lights spilled out of him. Imperial mark, ghost skeleton. Whoosh. The golden lights exploded in intensity and a skeleton hundreds of meters big appeared around him. The golden lights focused then and took the form of a 4-sided seal high in the sky, encompassing the old man and the skeleton. Zhou Fan watched it all with a cold eye and a smirk. This was a skill particular to emperors, using one's soul and control of space to form the imperial mark, unstoppable and disregarding all spatial laws. Once the seal fell, the land would break along with any spirit king that tried fighting it. the soul's character would also be shown its full potential inside the imperial mark as well. The old man's soul was a ghost skeleton, of Een in nature, making the attack have an even harsher effect on souls. The moment the golden seal appeared, spilling light everywhere, Zhuofan shook as he heard howls of wraiths within his mind. It dazed him for a moment with his body wobbling. Humph, nothing but a spirit king. You can control space, but can you take on the imperial heavenly brilliance? The old man was out for blood, shouting as the golden seal came down on top of Zhuofan, "Rotten cretin, I'll make mincemeat out of you, now while your mind is hazy." Apocalyptic thunderflame. Zhuofan's left eye flared with black flames, while deep in his soul, thunderflames sparked to life. The golden glow met with a sudden blackness, erasing it and making Zhuofan's eyes shine. Looking up at the incoming golden seal, Zhuofan grinned. His right eye shone in two golden halos. Humph, the imperial mark might be unstoppable, but even it will suffer before my thunderflame. Divine eye of the void second stage, thunderflame void annihilation. Whoosh! A dreadful black beam of flame shot at the golden seal. The old man cried out, "What is that?" Boom! The black flame smashed into the seal and availed itself of the void annihilation's power to enter the newly formed 1/2 meter wide and hundreds of meters long hole. The old man spurted blood and paled, proving that the imperial mark and he were connected, making him suffer when it was damaged. What was worse, the black thunderflames didn't rest with only punching a hole in the seal, eating away at the remains as well. Ah! With an unearthly howl, the man screamed from having his very soul eaten away. The pain had to be excruciating, enough to make one go insane. He was constantly pleading for mercy, yet Zhuofan just stood to the side and watched as the seal was burned to nothing. The old man wailed in pain down to his last breath, his face twisted and horrible. It was a testament to a most gruesome death no one would wish upon anyone. "I didn't use the decimating sword art on you as well because I needed your body intact." Zhuofan walked over to the twisted body, chuckling. He hooked his finger and a head landed in his palm. Chapter 1198, Gambling Town. Chapter 1198, Gambling Town. Proofreader, Papatunks. Drip. The downpour had soaked the land, washing away the blood and filth, leaving no trace behind of the atrocity that happened, while giving the air an earthy scent. In a damp cave, with water dripping from the stalagmites, the girl laying on a stone bed muttered as she woke up, "WMI? Oh, Qingqing awake yet?" Zhuofan lit up, chuckling, "I can't believe how I ended up saving you in the end. Shouldn't you pledge endless devotion now? Ha! You saved me?" Chu Qingqing was confused, trying to recall the fuzzy details. Then it all came to her in a flash, looking at Zhuofan with suspicion. "How did you save me?" "They had an emperor and many spirit kings." "Emperor, spirit kings?" Zhuofan shrugged, putting on a clueless look. "I didn't see any. Didn't you just leave me behind? As I tried catching up with you on the ground, I saw you lying unconscious. So I carried you here to nurse you. I never got to see anything." Chu Qingqing's eyes grew hazy. Strange, they were so ruthless, clearly wanting to kill me. I still remember that foot about to crush my head before I lost consciousness. Did they just let me go after finding I don't have it? Chu Qingqing turned to Zhuofan, as if in question. Zhuofan shrugged, smiling cluelessly. Chu Qingqing thought long and hard but still couldn't find an explanation. So she resigned to being fortunate to have come out alive. Now she just had to catch up to her senior sisters. Ah! She just got up to her feet when she felt her waist in pain before slumping back down. Zhuofan jumped to help her. "What is it?" "Take it slow, Qingqing. I have some bad wounds and can't move very well." Chu Qingqing winced and took a red pill from her ring. She ate it and sighed. "Now it'll be a miracle if I get to Miss City on time, let alone catching up with the others." Zhuofan smiled, his mind calculative. "Did you forget about me already? Last time you carried me, so now I'll carry you." "You?" "Yep. With you unable to fly, my running has to be way better than being stuck here, right? Chu Qingqing yelped as he up and put her on his back, taking a long whiff of her scent while plastering a smile on his face. Oh, my wife's smell is so unlike everyone else's. I'll be sure to engrave it in my memory, to hold it close to the end of days. Bam! Chu Qingqing smacked his head, blushing hard and chiding, "Cut that out. I'm not your wife." "Yes you are. Miscreant. Maybe not now, but you soon will be. You can never escape from me." Zhuofan held onto Chu Qingqing's supple legs and lifted, eliciting another pleasant yelp from her before he started walking. Chu Qingqing glared at this rotten man, but for some reason, her heart just wouldn't match her thoughts. His wide back called to her to just rest on it. As a strong girl, she, of course, pushed through the thought with sheer determination, despite her heart's constant hammering in her chest. Zhuofan carried his darling, asking about her life till now. "Qingqing, who gave you that name anyway? It sounds so nice, like those kingdom-toppling beauties. Is father-in-law a Chu?" "Stop that nonsense." Chu Qingqing blushed again, but she replied still, "Master named me when she picked me up. I heard that the ground collapsed just as Master passed by, revealing these characters, thus taking me and naming me after them." "Oh, I see." Zhuofan nodded. "That old man from my soul was very thoughtful for me. To make sure I found Qingqing, he left clues of her birth, but—" "And your parents? Didn't your master find your parents?" Chu Qingqing lowered her head, sighing, "Master said I don't have any, that she only found me alone. I always wanted to go out and find where I came from when I left the sect." "Any idea where to begin?" "None." Chu Qingqing shook her head. Zhuofan's eyes shone, his mind making the right adjustments to the plan. "Then leave it to me. I will make it clear as day." You don't believe I can do it?" Zhuofan raised an eyebrow, smiling. "I've been roaming the world for so many years, and where I lack in strength, I made up with knowledge in spades. They don't call me an information broker for nothing. There's not an obscure rumor or far-fetched myth I didn't hear. The demonic emperor's high treachery or the enchanting empress's twisted love life throughout the ages, I know everything." "Pa!" His head snapped to the side from the blow as Chu Qingqing yelled at him, "Don't you dare vilify my master." "Why would I even want to? While the crone is hardly amazing now, back in the day." "You're still saying that." Fine, I'll stop. It's not like we all haven't been rash and reckless in our youth." Zhuofan smirked, feeling gloomy inside. "What's so great about that biddy anyway? Something's definitely off here, just taking Qingqing to the sect and raising her. I'd better get those guys to look into what went on a century ago." Zhuofan walked on, his mind on different matters. Chu Qingqing saw him silent and asked, "Are you angry?" "Oh, not at all. I could never be angry at you." Zhuofan beamed. Chu Qingqing brightened and her heart swooned. In her joy, her head leaned on his back, at peace and happy. Zhuofan caught her look and was just as content. Zhuofan walked with Chu Qingqing on his back for 7 days before she finally got better. She could pretty much walk on her own and be off on her merry way, but these short days had worked to get the destined couple to grow much closer, as well as Zhuofan's persistent demand to guide her. Chu Qingqing thus let him do what he wanted, with some reluctance. She ended up carrying him as they flew, reaching the gates of Mist City 3 months later. The two entered the bustling city hand in hand. Everything drew Chu Qingqing's eyes, amazed at any sparkling or cute thing, being her first time outside the sect. Zhuofan acted natural, except for that eerie light in his eyes. Qingqing, Mist City is known as Gambling Town in Sacred Domain, with a gambling game at every corner of every street. In the city center, the treasure hoarding palace took the best spot of all gambling dens. The treasure deal you are all here for has to be held there. This is a gambling town? Isn't it Seven Treasures sect's domain, where deals are made? It is, but the sect leader is a renowned gambler, dubbed the Gambling Emperor, making the deals made here resemble gambling. When conducting business with him, you either lose, or he loses. There's no such thing as mutual satisfaction. What? Chu Qingqing gasped, no fairness? Who on earth would bet with him for anything then? As one of the 8 emperors, who'd win against him? Zhuo Fan smiled. A true gambler knows when to accept a loss. Or there would never be anyone willing to risk gambling against such a man if there's not a chance of winning. A gambler would be down without a buddy to gamble with. That's why the gambling emperor is only letting luck decide. Regardless of the loss, he'll never go back on it. This is the rule of all gambling. The moment he breaks it, no one will ever come to his town ever again. Chu Qingqing nodded and then her eyes shone. Zhuo Fan, have you ever bet against him? Nah, it can't be. Why would he bet against someone like you? And you don't look to be having anything worth his time either. Oh, I did bet. Zhuo Fan's eyes flashed. I offered a heaven-grade cultivation method for his heaven-grade martial art and won in the end. He ended up crying 3 whole days before he finally gave me the martial art. Chu Qingqing gave him a long look. A bone-tempering cultivator with a heaven-grade cultivation method betting for a heaven-grade martial art? If you're going to boast, make it believable. Reading her like a book, Zhuo Fan held her gaze before finally chuckling. Qingqing, can't believe you fell for it. Without me around, I fear someone's going to cheat you out of your spirit stones, huh? Why you tricked me? Chu Qingqing gaped, then started chasing Zhuo Fan around. He played along, enjoying the rare moment. Qingqing, what are you doing? Chapter 1199, Gambling Town's Upstart. Chapter 1199, Gambling Town's Upstart. Proofreader, Papatunks. As Senior Aunt May. Chu Qingqing jumped in fright, looking back in anxiety where the voice came from and stiffened like a child being caught. A woman in her 50s came over, a mid-stage empress, with sharp eyes and an ashen face wearing plain clothes. She glared at the two, approaching with authority. Her fierce attitude only worked on girls, not on seasoned demons like Zhuo Fan. Mei Sangha hasn't kicked the bucket yet? What a drag! Zhuo Fan cursed her inside. Mei Sangha reached them and her eyes never left Chu Qingqing. Behind her were Fong Min and the other girls, along with one young man. She pointed at Zhuo Fan's face while cussing. Qingqing, who's this? You're a Ruby Cloud sect disciple yet are gallivanting with a man in broad daylight? The scandal! Senior Aunt, Chu Qingqing was embarrassed, stuck unable to even introduce him. Fong Min butted in, ever unhelpful with making things worse. Senior Aunt, he's the thug we found in the forest looking for herbs a few months ago. He's nothing, but he must be one smooth talker to actually get in Junior Sister's graces to follow her here. Junior Sister, if you were looking for a man, you sure have poor tastes. Just what are you up to hanging out with a nobody like him, huh? The other girls giggled at her expense. Senior Sister, you misunderstand itches. Chu Qingqing rushed to explain but got stuck again. Mei Sangha rushed. Qingqing, just what is going on here? Explain yourself. You know very well of your master's high expectations. Don't throw it all away on a whim. Senior Aunt I. Just tell them already. Chu Qingqing kept stammering so Zhuo Fan intervened, grabbing her hand and declaring, forgive me, but she is with me now. You all better be nice to her or else. Everyone froze, their hearts shuddering from shock. Mei Sangha could hardly believe her ears. Qingqing, why already? And no, we didn't do anything. Chu Qingqing blushed hard as she explained and cursed Zhuo Fan. What are you saying? I'm not yours at all. Could you please stop lying to everyone? What did I ever do to you to shame me so? Zhuo Fan shrugged. I'm not shaming you. You were mine to begin with. Be it now and forever, no one can take you away from me. Chu Qingqing gave him a long look, still distressed and red, but his bold declaration touched her. Haha, a bone-tempering punk goes after a Ruby Cloud sect disciple? Not even the last dead girl will be a fit for you. Humph, she's way out of your league. Fong Min laughed, throwing him a despising look, then turned to the handsome youth. Ashing, are the Sword Cloud Palace disciples allowed to have affairs with bugs? The youth smiled condescendingly. We aren't fools to resort to such absurd means. Or does Junior Sister think she is only fit for this guy? Well said, junior sister must surely know her worth. Ha! Fang Min loved to mock the two. Chu Qingqing hung her head with guilt, tears flowing. Mei Sangu sighed and pulled her shoulder. Come with me, girl, you shamed us enough as it is. You're to reflect long and hard when we return. Chu Qingqing followed out of instinct. Qingqing, it's fine. Just come find me if you need anything. I'll never let them touch a hair on you. Zhou Fan shouted after the two. Fang Min mocked, boy, you're so yellow on the inside that you're now running your mouth? You call that skill? If you're a man, just go take junior sister from senior Aunt May's hand. Oh, look who I'm talking to. Of course if you do that you'd end up flattened with senior aunt's temper. Brother, may I know your name? Zhou Fan only addressed the youth next to her. The guy was surprised, then sneered, I am Su Zhenxing. What may I do for you? Nothing much, just meaning to give you a word of advice. Zhou Fan snickered. Catching a woman's heart is like looking for a needle in the haystack. You have to grasp what she values. Your approach won't get you anywhere, ha. Zhou Fan left him to digest that tidbit, while Fang Min and the girls stood there stunned. Fang Min asked, what did he mean by that? Probably nothing. Su Zhenxing was out of sorts, making a random excuse, while his heart was in awe. He doesn't look like it, but this guy's like a love doctor or something. Go after what she values. It makes perfect sense. He butted in just now so the junior sister would be at odds with both parties, having no choice but to go with him. What kind of person would ever want to live their lives under constant nagging? This was a clear tactic of taking advantage of the situation to get the girl to his side. They could just elope later on. Absolutely brilliant. But what's the point of getting the girl to follow him when he hasn't got the skill to fight back the Ruby Cloud sex hunters? If he can't handle them, why resort to dissent? He doesn't look like the reckless and impulsive type either. Su Zhenxing couldn't figure him out. Fang Min and the girls gave him odd looks. What's with Ashing? He's been out of it just from a couple words from that guy. How peculiar. Mei Sangu brought Chu Qingqing to a tavern in Miss City, where she interrogated her over what she went through. You're saying that you've been hurt badly and he guided you here? You were just using him to show you the way, and that's all there is to it? Senior Aunt, that is it for now. What's that supposed to mean? Don't tell me later you. Not at all. Chu Qingqing shook her head and Mei Sangu finally sighed. I hope so, Qingqing. You are the favorite disciple of my senior sister. Don't do anything that will bring the sect shame. Since it was just a misunderstanding, we can let it go. But next time, you are to stay clear of men, understand? Yes. Chu Qingqing squeaked. Mei Sangu gestured for her to leave. Go and get some rest for 2 days. In 3 days, the exchange gathering will commence. We have to get the Nether Sea map. Yes. Chu Qingqing was downcast as she left, with Mei Sangu sighing from behind. Girls yearn for love. We better find them a betrothal instead of having some egotistical cheat toy with them. Zhou Fan held a green jade slip, following the map inside to the center of town, to a large courtyard guarded by 2 Genesis stage experts. This is the place. Zhou Fan's eyes shone. The 2 guards blocked him as he tried going inside. Halt. Only honored guests of Miss City stay here. Laborers have no place here. Step aside, I'm one of them. Sizing him up, the 2 mocked, have you ever seen some bone-tempering bug treated as a guest? I'm from the Luo clan, now move. Luo clan? The 2 started but their disdain of Zhou Fan never diminished. Kid, now you're trying to scare us? The Luo clan became an honored guest only a month ago. They squandered billions of sacred stones and earned our city lord's personal invitation here. They have many experts, of which over 20 spirit kings. Yet you're saying there's also you somewhere in there? Zhou Fan's face sank. Then just call someone from the Luo clan and it will all be made clear. But is a bug worthy of the audience of such an important guest? Steward Zhua. A cry came just then as Li Jingtian rushed over upon noticing Zhua. Steward Zhua, you're finally here. You almost made my heart stop with your year-long disappearance. Ugh. The guards blinked in stupefaction, a silly smile on their faces. Sir Li, why you know him? He is the Luo clan's head steward. Be nice to him, or any slight done to Steward Zhua is a slight to the entire Luo clan. We'll be sure to settle this debt. Li Jingtian gave them a tongue lashing and grabbed Zhua Fan's arm with a smile. Steward Zhua, we did as you said in the jade slip and spent a ton of money without a care. We almost bought the whole town, huh? Good, in 3 days at the treasure gathering, we must succeed. Zhua Fan's eyes shone as he left with Li Jingtian. The two guards were still staring with goony looks, their faces twitching. What's a powerful clan doing with a bone-tempering nobody for a head steward? From the looks of Sir Li, they value him greatly too. Chapter 1200, Treasure Gathering. Chapter 1200, Treasure Gathering. Proofreader, Papatunks. 3 days later, at the treasure hoarding palace, placed in the center of Mist City, an endless crowd had gathered. Some were officials, others were average people, but they were all there for the great treasure exchange. Though that was just a fancy word for gambling, as most treasures were never seen in public. Some would end up spending a fortune, only to get nothing in return. Others had the fortune of using just 10 spirit stones and becoming set for life. This was the thrill of gambling, fraught with dangers, but the potential to win a reward so valuable that it could put you in power overnight. Everyone here walked in line, for on this day there was no status separating anyone as they entered the hall and got to their seats. The place housed hundreds of thousands, gathered around a stage where the city lord of Mist City awaited. Today he was not just the city lord, but the host for the occasion. With this exchange holding some very incredible items, he had to come out and handle this big event involving powerful people. Taking a deep breath, the man of the hour overlooked the stands, tensing as he lingered a moment longer on the 9 covered private booths. Therein were the other representatives of the 8 emperors. All were a headache to deal with and could trash this place without fear of consequences. It unnerved him, but he tried to focus and calm his mind. We've been here for a month yet still haven't seen the city lord such a nervous wreck. In one of the booths, Li Jingtian glanced at the fretful man and turned to the other booths. Steward Zhua, today we're up against the 8 emperors in the open no less, but isn't it a bit too early with barely a year of preparations? Even Mist City Lord isn't ready to face the others, and he has the gambling emperor behind him. Zhua Fan sat in a cozy chair. Yes, the risk is great, but we have to grasp the opportunity. It's the best chance we have of involving ourselves in the 8 emperors conflict. Who's to say there'll be a next one? Also, didn't I say I will be taking the lead in this? Young Miss Murong, what are you two even doing here? Zhua Fan looked back at the two girls. As the young miss of the Luo clan, I have to be present at such a huge event. Luo Yunchang shrugged from her own fancy chair. Murong Shui gave him a look. I'm not about to miss out on the chance of seeing the sacred domain's big shots. So far, it doesn't look any different from the mortal domain. If it's all the same, why come? Bali Yuyu rolled her eyes. We're here to show these big names in sacred domain what we're made of, not strut about. You're both here for nothing. Hey, don't talk like that. Who's in charge of the clan here anyway? Settle down now. As they were about to bicker again, Zhua Fan intervened. Since we're all here, might as well enjoy it. Young Miss Luo is correct though. At such an important event, a steward isn't enough to represent the clan head's intentions. It's only normal for the young miss to be here. Luo Yunchang rose an eyebrow, shooting Bali Yuyu a smug look. The cold lady huffed and flicked her head away. The others chuckled at their antics. But a deafening ringing echoed as a bell was struck. The stands went quiet, with the city lord walking forward with a smile. Guests, the 1784th Treasure Exchange gathering begins. Be it the poor or the rich, this very hall offers the same opportunity to all, an opportunity to change their destiny. Life is hard and cruel, so don't wait for it to get better. Take out everything you have and go after those treasures. The crowd went wild. We'll start off with our first item of the day. At City Lord's shout, guards pushed in a trolley. It had a black cover, blocking any prying eyes as the host gave his speech. This is a fascinating spiritual weapon for the ladies, and an obsession for the men. It is a treasure that drives shock into all. You can't possibly imagine the world could ever have something so incredible. What is it, you ask? The eyes below the stage glittered, trying their best to guess what this amazing bauble could be behind that thin veil. With a cryptic smile, the city lord resumed, I don't know it, and neither do any of you. Per custom, it can be something grand and unique, or as common as dirt. Let the blind bidding commence, and may the highest bidder win. Opportunity rarely knocks in one's lifetime, people. Don't miss your chance at glory. 100,000 spirit stones. A shout echoed the instant he finished riling up the crowd, followed by a flood of others. 1 million. I must have it. It has to be amazing to make women fascinated and men obsessed. 5 million. The people whispered, then checked their pockets to see if they could afford it. Some had the means but not the will to step in, for fear of going bust. Joafan sneered at the bivalent crowd. That's the gambling emperor's ploy, all right, plan to hike up the bidding. That means the item must be junk to raise it so high. Why? People would feel sorry spending a fortune over something cheap, but it garners attention. While buying something valued with a lower price would cause excitement and greed. All these years, the gambling emperor has been using this trick to cheat people out of their money. It's an old tactic, but there's plenty of people out there who would fall for it all the same. Ha! Joafan shook his head in disdain. Li Jingtian nodded. Yeah, but what kind of fools would fall for it? Do you need to ask? This, of course. Li Jingtian flinched. Steward Zhua, you know it's a trick yet still go for it. What else do you expect from an upstart? You're saying all those sacred stones you wasted the past month are to be for nothing? Joafan smiled. The Grand Eight Emperors are high up on their throne and hardly anyone could get close. The best way is to find some dumb and gullible moneybags. Who wouldn't want a friend, pawn like that? That's how you gain value by joining their circle, taking back what you lost plus interest. Li Jingtian grinned. Steward Zhua, you always look ahead. Then let's bid, but what's the price at right now? 8 million. Then we'll add one more. 10 million. A shout came first before Joafan got the chance, filled with power. Joafan's eye twitched looking over. One of the 8 emperors? Ashing, we're not here to have some bet with the gambling emperor, nor do we have so many spirit stones. The map is all that matters. In the booth where the last bid came from, an elder with white eyebrows eyed Su Zhenxing with a grave look. Su Zhenxing smiled. Senior uncle, I'm buying with my own money for a girl. As long as she likes it, the price won't matter. It won't affect the sect's coffers by a single stone. He then gave Fong Min a dazzling smile. She felt her insides tingle, then she preened at her junior sisters. See that my man knows how to please his girl. Envious much? Ha! The girls nodded like good children, with only Chu Qingqing depressed, her mind always on Joafan. Sir Lu, Ashing looked smitten with Amin. It won't be long before they tie the knot, ha, third Aunt May giggled, showing her white teeth, a stark difference from how she acted around Joafan and Qingqing. Her mind was another matter, however. Amin is good at this, having the kid wrapped around her finger. Humph, let him waste his money on the junk, and then they won't have anything left to bid for the Nether Sea map. Damn broad, going as far as using a honey trap. The elder frowned, reading her like a book. He says he's using his own money, but isn't your pocket money taken from the sect? We're in gambling town and he should know its standards. What if you're wasting just that little bit of money? We might need to place a winning bid at the very end. How is that going to help the sect? The elder glared hard at Su Zhenxing. He caught his meaning but showed no reaction. Chasing girls is pricey. That guy used the elder's nagging to make the lass fall for him then elope. I'll just use money to buy a girl's heart. Isn't that the same? And regarding eloping, bringing the Ruby Cloud sect's head senior sister over to the Sword Emperor's sect will earn me bragging rights. Some glittering rocks can't ever compare to that. 20 million. Zhuofan shouted in even higher bid. Chapter 1201, A Moneybag Style. Chapter 1201, A Moneybag Style. Proofreader, Papatunks. Su Jinxing's face twitched and fell, glaring at the other booth. Senior uncle, who is that? Oh, that must be the Luo clan. The old man squinted and said, they're not with them, just a group that got fame from throwing their money around in Gambling Town recently, nothing but moneybags. Nothing. They go after 8 Emperor's people without any backing? I can't lose now. What about Sword Emperor's sect's reputation? Su Jinxing shouted, 30 million. Jinxing. The elder snapped, a little too late. Youths could never handle a challenge right, irking for a fight at the slightest provocation. 30 million was his yearly allowance for training, yet it was all thrown over some unknown useless bauble. The old man cursed him for being a sore loser, while Fang Min rejoiced under the second-hand attention. Zhuofan casually replied, sacred stones. The entire stands were stirring, with all eyes fixed on his booth in shock. 20 million sacred stones over some random crap? That was no longer betting, but throwing cash around. What kind of moneybags are behind that curtain? Su Jinxing choked, grimacing, unable to face Fang Min's hopeful eyes and choosing to direct all his hatred at the enemy. Bastard, who the hell are these Luos? Throwing away 20 million sacred stones like garbage? Did they run out of spirit stones? This is absurd. They got more money than a Sword Emperor disciple. The senior uncle was stunned, but sighed in relief. I'm glad this wastrel got his desires curbed. Honored Luo clan, are you sure you want to bet 20 million sacred stones on this? The city lord was taken aback as well. All eyes awaited for the booth's reply. City lord, we only have sacred stones and will only be using them from now on. Boom! The hall exploded with clamor, never leaving the booth out of their sight. They all heard of the Luo clan's deep pockets, but to think they were bottomless. They used sacred stones right off the bat and they would keep doing it. What were the rest supposed to bet then? Many clutched their heads, grimacing out of futility to deal with this upstart. Looking at the crowd, the city lord stuck to his role. The Luo clan bid 20 million sacred stones on this item. Is there anyone else who bids more? Silent as the grave. No one at all? The city lord tried. Seeing no reaction, he declared, then the fascination of women and obsession of men shall go to the Luo clan. The city lord threw his arm and uncovered the trolley to reveal a dazzling prismatic hairpin, decorated with 18 crystalline pearls of incredible clarity that mesmerized the crowd. The girls in particular looked spellbound, holding them under its mystical spell. Prismatic virtuous hairpin, created from refined metal 180 times and adorned with pearls, each priceless. As a woman, wearing such a pearl hairpin would magnify their beauty, emphasize their elegance, and perfect their image. The city lord went on, alas, it can't be considered anything more than a hairpin. Any man that would buy it is bound to have their hearts bleed in regret going home with this trinket, ha! The audience burst out in laughter, most of which were men, of course. As for the women, they were just enamored with the pearl hairpin. The Ruby Cloud sect women, even Mei Sangu, weren't any different, their eyes sparkling like that of a young girl. Fang Min bit her lip, giving Su Jinxing a reproachful look. You're useless. You couldn't even buy a hairpin. Sister Min, it's good that he didn't. It's nothing but a pointless decoration worth less than 100 spirit stones. As if, it has its uses and I wanted it. Fang Min whined like a spoiled brat. Chu Qingqing nodded at the side, envious. Sure, it's not valuable, but it'll be nice to be able to wear it just once. Fang Min scoffed. No amount of hairpins will work on someone as hopeless as you. Chu Qingqing pouted with a lowered head. The city lord turned to the Luo clan to say, of course, a sword is worthy of a hero, as makeup is sublime on a lady. We've been mocking its value only from a man's standpoint. For a woman, however, especially a breathtaking beauty as young Miss Luo, it is another matter entirely. With your wealth, it is not just about money when bidding on the hairpin, but a must-have accessory. Take the hairpin to young Miss Luo. Yes. An attendant took the trolley with the item. All the eyes that glittered as the item passed belonged solely to women, filled with envy. Hold! A voice from the booth came. Wah! Give this hairpin to Ruby Cloud Sect's young Miss Chu Qingqing. Everyone got rowdy again, all whispering as they turned in Ruby Cloud Sect's direction. Luo clan just threw away 20 million sacred stones just so it can gift it to Ruby Cloud Sect? Are they their backers? The Ruby Cloud Sect group was baffled as well. Fong Min turned eager to Mei Sangu. Senior aunt, is the Luo clan with us? The elders stared at her hard, tense. With Ruby Cloud Sect having such a wealthy branch, it will make the last bidding dangerous. I don't know. Sect leader didn't tell me anything. Were they sent to help? Mei Sangu was floundering. An attendant brought the item over, bowing. Senior, who might Miss Qingqing be? Whoosh. All eyes focused on Chu Qingqing, who looked out of sorts as she raised a hand. The attendant smiled and bowed again as he presented the hairpin. As Miss Heard, the Luo clan's master gifts you this. Please take it, miss. Oh. Chu Qingqing operated on reflex at this point, too overwhelmed to speak. Before she did reach it, however, another hand flicked the cover and moved to grab it right in her face. With a cold eye, the attendant dodged the insidious hand, staring at the owner. Miss, you're not Chu Qingqing and I can't give it to you. I'm the head senior sister of Ruby Cloud Sect, Fong Min. If Luo clan told you to give Ruby Cloud Sect the time, then why can't I have it? Fong Min's eyes burned with jealousy as she grinded her teeth. The man spat. Master Luo bought the hairpin, and it's our duty to give it to the rightful owner. Gambling Town abides by this rule. Since Sir wished for young Miss Qingqing of Ruby Cloud Sect to have it, it's clear that it doesn't belong to the sect itself. Damn you. Minner, stop making a scene. You're only making a fool of yourself. Fong Min was about to flip out, but Mei Sangu shouted. She then smiled. Qingqing, it's his gift, so take it. Chu Qingqing nodded with a smile, taking the item offered by the attendant and adorning the hairpin in her hair. The clothes made the man, or the woman in this case, as the hairpin blended flawlessly with the perfect girl, turning her otherworldly. Chapter 1202, Gambling Stage. Chapter 1202, Gambling Stage. Proofreader, Papatunks. Qingqing? Did you find her? Luo Yunchang heard Zhuo Fan shouting and flinched. Did I hear right? Is she from Ruby Cloud Sect? Zhuo Fan nodded and eased a long breath. Yes, it's truly unfortunate that she is so close to Ruby Cloud Sect. It's sure to make things worse at one point. Then congratulations. Li Jingtian muttered, looking strained. Zhuo Fan cared not, saying, Elderly, there's something strange about the secrecy around Qingqing in Ruby Cloud Sect. Look into it as well as what events happened 100 years ago. I have a feeling that Hag is setting her up for something. Sure, Steward Zhua, I'll go check it out later. Thanks. Zhuo Fan frowned, his mind elsewhere. The city lord once again announced, Ladies and gentlemen, as well as seniors, the first item found an owner, but you needn't fret, for our second item is far more precious. Bring it in. 30 million. The city lord flinched, looking again at the Luo clan booth with a twitchy eye. Yes, sir, I've yet to call out the starting price. Who cares, I just gotta have it. Boom. The stands were taken by storm once more. The first item's only clue to its value was the city lord's base price, but now that was shot out the window, placing a sky-high bid off the bat regardless if it was junk or diamonds. Though it would be such a shame for those 30 million sacred stones if it ended up being a bust. Thinking about it from a different angle. What shame would there be if they're filthy rich? The real question is, just how loaded are they to burn so much money? The focus of the gathering has changed from betting to figuring out the mystery behind the Luo clan. Where did they come from? The city lord sighed, but stuck to his role, calling it thrice. Anyone else? Anyone at all? Someone? Everyone was silent. Knowing nothing about that thing on the stage and already having a 30 million bid on it, no one would be insane to take such unwarranted risk. The item goes to the Luo clan. The city lord slammed his gavel. What is it, you might ask? Let us see. Give it to young Miss Qingqing from Ruby Cloud Sect, thanks. Zhuofan cut him off, making the city lord stumble. He gave a powerless and strained sigh as he said, Sir, you don't even wish to know what you bought? No, since everything will be delivered to young Miss Qingqing. Zhuofan's tone was irreproachable. The city lord gave a casual wave, sending the attendant with the item. Everyone watched as the unknown item moved away. This never happened once in the history of Miss City. Ruby Cloud Sect's group was dumbfounded. Who's Luo clan? Why are they just giving us stuff? They want to work their way into our good graces? Yeah, that's gotta be it. But why then are they sending it to just one person, the youngest disciple? That was what had these girls stumped. So began an endless trail of unknown items sent to Chu Qingqing with every outrageous bid from Zhuofan before the city lord ever got to rile up the crowd. Chu Qingqing had to do nothing and found herself swimming in treasures with a blank look. As for the people coming here for the thrill of betting, they were left powerless against such moneybags, turning into props to make him look good. Since he won all the items with an impossible price, the others had nothing on him. It was a sad day for any gambler. A dreamer or a plain addict, it mattered not the heavy loss or the crushing defeat, but being unable to bet. The city lord felt the worst of it by far. With every dreaded call from Zhuofan, an item was bought without even being able to get a word in. The only dignity as host remaining was to call the next item. It was a sad, sad day for him. Now that all the items were gone, it was City Lord's time to shine once more. With the commodities over, we would first like to thank our honored Luo clan for being our greatest investor. The next item shall be the greatest the city has ever seen. The 8 emperors of the sacred domain shall now compete over our last item, Nether's Sea Map. Others are welcome to join, so long as you can stomach it and have the strength to back it, 8 emperors? The tired or bored gamblers thought the last item might be their time to shine. They were happy chasing the thrill even if it meant losing the shirt off their backs. Hearing 8 emperors being mentioned, however, woke them up on the spot. You kidding me? Bet with the 8 emperors? I'm too young to die. Not a sound was made in the entire hall, with the audience feeling a chill down their backs. The city lord gave them a cold smile, then smirked at the Luo clan's booth. You can have the world's wealth in your pocket, but not even you have the gall to challenge these powerhouses. 8 emperors' representatives, this is a request from the gambling emperor. Please present your bids on the table so that the winner can be declared without any hard feelings. Bring chairs and a table. Someone brought a large table and 7 seats. The city lord smiled, being the first to face it and take out a gray map to display it on the table. The people in the booths huffed and made their way out, including Mei Sanga's group, each looking impressive. The audience had their first glimpse of real power. What does the gambling emperor intend with this? Give his town a show? Yeah, as each of us are people of repute, why should we bother giving these people any consideration by showing our competition? Does the gambling emperor want to inflate his image? Are you planning on leading all of the other emperor representatives by the nose? Curses and sneers sounded at the table as each representative took their seats, with their people standing behind. The city lord smiled. People, since you came to Gambling Town, you must gather around the betting table. The Nether Sea Map can't just be given, since the gambling emperor has been wanting the Nether Sovereign's seat of enlightenment as well. Why invite us here for betting? The city lord's eyes shone, showing a sinister smile. We can't sell it to you, but we can lose it as long as you have the means to win it. Mei Sangu squinted and huffed. Fine, and how do we play? I'm sure the common games of chance are beneath such fine people, so we'll be using riddles. Guessing right makes you the winner. In case of a draw, the house wins. The city lord smirked. Riddle? The 7 people nodded. Fine. Then let the games begin. Wait. To the shock of everyone in there, a shout came from the Luo clan booth. Add another seat. The Luo clan is joining. What? The crowd stirred. The Luo clan is competing with the 8 emperors? Is it suicidal? Or do they have backing? The representatives themselves were taken aback, each trying to guess their history. With such nerves of steel, they had to be something else to join such a bet. Did they represent Sacred Mountain? The city lord smiled. Bring another seat. There's plenty of room around the betting table. One empty chair appeared on the side of the large table, with everyone fixed on it with strange gazes. The Luo clan walked out of their booth and made their way down. Chu Qingqing and Ruby Cloud sex girls gasped, "You? What are you doing here?" As part of the Luo clan, it's only natural that I follow young miss. Something wrong? Zhuofan beamed, walking in front. His mysterious manner gave others no means of reading him. Chapter 1203, Treasure Competition. Chapter 1203, Treasure Competition. Proofreader, Papatunks. Startled, Chu Qingqing stared at Zhuofan, getting more confused by the second. The other girls couldn't wrap their heads how a magnate like the Luo clan would take in bone-tempering garbage. Zhuofan couldn't care less about what they thought, smiling at one particular girl. "Qingqing, did you like what I gave you?" "Ah, you gave them to me." "Yes, did you like them?" Zhuofan sighed. "Sorry for giving you random things. We were only together for a short time and couldn't tell what you'd like, so I just gave you everything to pick the right one for you. If you don't like anything, just throw them away. But tell me what you like so I'll be sure to pick the best for you next time." It's fine, they're all nice." Chu Qingqing blushed red-hot, lowering her head as her heart blossomed in her chest. Zhuofan smiled. "Nice? What were they then, since I couldn't see? Tell me all about them so I can give you more in the future." "You don't have to waste your money." Humph, he didn't waste anything, especially since he didn't even want that stuff. So he just showered you with them while he was at it. You really think he'll do it again? Fang Min was stewing in her jealousy as she scoffed. Master Luo must have bought all that to show off, regardless what stuff it was. Who knows what the punk must have said to his master to gain the right to handle such garbage. He's nowhere near capable of getting millions of sacred stones from his master just to burn them for you. Yeah, he's just a lucky bastard to have such a nice master to take him in. What a shame to have picked dirt from the ground. Of course he has no say over his master's money, not to give it to you at least. Su Zhenxing was also irked. "Junior sister, you better stay away from him. He's nothing but a lapdog. Do you wish to rely on someone's charity?" Chu Qingqing looked hurt, giving Zhuofan a long look before saying, "Senior sister, but he's really nice. Even if he didn't buy all of that, just his thoughtful." "Come again? Dumping the stuff his master didn't want on you is thoughtful? Dumb girl, are you so cheap?" Fang Min glared hard, then turned to Mei Sangu. "Senior aunt, shouldn't you handle this? Junior sister Qingqing is being misled." Mei Sangu gave Zhuofan a cold look, speaking to the seated Luo Yunchang. "Girl, leash your servant from his obnoxious flirting." "Hey, old bat, it's you who should tighten the chain on those she-dogs. Their incessant barking is driving us nuts." Luo Yunchang bit back. The audience gaped. The Luo clan just taunted an emperor's representative. How cool is that? Just who are they? Mei Sangu was nearing her 10th millennium yet just got insulted by a wee girl. Of course she'd explode, slapping the table and flaring her aura at Luo Yunchang. "You have some nerve, dumb girl." Whoosh. A figure flashed in front of Luo Yunchang, spreading his cold aura to counter Mei Sangu's temper, meeting in an explosive clash. Mei Sangu shook, her heart in shock. Bali Yuyu fell back, glaring at Mei Sangu in challenge. "Old bat, not bad at all. How did this miss?" Mei Sangu sized Bali Yuyu up, shocked by the second. The rest were baffled while also raising the Luo clan's importance in their minds. Mei Sangu was a tested and true emperor stage expert, but Bali Yuyu was a mere spirit king. Despite the gap, they were matched. No wonder the Luo clan joined the 8 emperors fray. The representatives' hearts sank, no longer dismissing them. The audience was restless. Bali Yu took a deep breath, turning to Zhuo Fan, who only had eyes for Chu Qingqing. Steward Zhuo, you caused this mess, yet you're flirting to the side. Yeah, Steward Zhuo, you said you wanted to bet, so we came along. Why should you stay behind and relax while I'm taking it over for you? Luo Yunchang gave him a smile, her tone bitter. Steward. Chu Qingqing started, why you're Luo clan steward. The rest were astonished. How did a bone-tempering cultivator end up being a magnate steward? Don't they care about power when headhunting? I'll explain later. With a wide smile, Zhuo Fan rushed back, leaving Chu Qingqing in confusion. Zhuo Fan reached Luo Yunchang and she casually ceded her seat. Li Jingtian tidied it up before gesturing to Zhuo Fan to take it with utmost respect. The audience was staring dumbstruck as the Luo clan steward took the seat of honor. But why? The city lord gave him a long look of confusion, but knew he was valued, so he also treated the steward with the respect he deserved, regardless of cultivation. Sir Zhuo, so young and so promising. Thank you, city lord. We may now begin the bet. Gladly. The city lord nodded and addressed the 8 people at the table. With all participants in order, I shall now speak of the rules. First of all, money dictates the chips you hold. The more you have, the easier to advance and become the house. The poorest needs to win bouts with the house to stay in the game. The instant he loses, it's game over. Mei Sangu squinted, which means? You take turns playing. The city lord snickered. Let's say, for example's sake, that we both take our treasures. If mine proves to be worth more, then I'm the house and you have to bet against me. Win, and you get everything to bet with the next contender. Beat all the others and you'll be crowned victorious. The people gasped. So before we get to challenge you, we first have to fight among each other? That means all the treasures might end with you while we get nothing. Yes, such a possibility exists, but it so happens that I'm the holder of the priceless Nether Sea map. All the treasures here can't hope to come close to it. That makes me, as a matter of course, the final house. Before that, however, give your all. One more thing, the first bettor has an advantage. He might have 2 treasures and can be a house, huh? Their faces sank and gnashed their teeth. The gambling emperor was evil, getting all of them to duke it out and still having a high chance of losing everything at the very end. The map was his and so would be their treasures. We'd get nothing. Folding, however, was not an option either. Stealing, on the other hand, would leave dire consequences to everyone here. It was a different item from that 9 Serenity's secret records. It had instant use, while this was merely a guiding tool. It was not worth waging war over something so vague. The contenders finally made their decision, nodding. Let's do this. Whoosh. Mei Sangu revealed her prismatic cup. This is Ruby Cloud Sect's core treasure, purple gold glazed cup, a 4th grade sacred weapon. The demonic emperor allowed me to bring the demonic gauntlet, a 3rd grade sacred weapon. An old man with black hair sighed as he threw in a claw with dark energy oozing out. He knew it was less than the purple gold glazed cup. Zhuo Fan's eyes shook. It was his finest work back in the day, given to his treacherous disciple. To think I'd see it here. The other representatives took out their own as well, some 4th, other 3rd grade. The highest, however, belonged to the Sword Emperor, Howling Sword, 5th grade. The others gasped. This guy can become the second house. He doesn't seem to mind using something so valuable in a bet. The city lord went by the book as he turned to Zhuo Fan. Luo clan, the item of your choosing. Magnates like them only have money. They have no legacy, only building their wealth over time. Fang Min found the right moment to mock them. Zhuo Fan smiled and in a shower of light, a draconic roar echoed. The gaudy glow had them gawking. Chapter 1204, Brutal. Chapter 1204, Brutal. Proofreader, Papatunks. Clink. The light trailed over their heads and landed on the table, revealing the glorious and ostentatious 3-meter-long sword, with even a dragon scale on it no less. The city lord's face twitched. Peak 5th grade sacred weapon? It's close to 6th grade even, a true rarity in the sacred domain. That's far from all. City Lord, would you care to take a closer look upon the way it was made? This is by no means amateur work, nor your average 5th grade sacred weapon. Luo Yunchang raised an eyebrow in pride. The city lord bobbed his head. Indeed, young Miss Luo is right. The maker has instilled his peak sword arts into it, making it even have a spirit. Incredible! I fear not even a 6th grade sacred weapon might compare. It's a certainty, not just a possibility. Zhou Fan grinned as he pointed out, City Lord, look here, could anyone get their hands on such ingredients? The City Lord took a closer look and gasped in shock. Why, you mean to say it's made with a scale from a dragon king from the Dragonlands? The audience widened their eyes and cried out. Even the representatives were shaken up as they stared in disbelief. They have the nerve to have a sacred weapon made of a dragon king scale? Do they have a death wish? Why, young Miss Luo, don't you know if the dragons from the Dragonlands find out? The city lord's face twitched hard, barely finding the words to speak. Zhou Fan waved off his concern. City Lord, relax, we don't fear them, which is why we've taken it out. A Dragon King is a peak 10th level spiritual beast, stronger than the average emperor. We took one's scales to make a weapon out of it, yet we'd be scared to let them find out? Ha! I see. Tage City Lord gave a bright smile, his heart racing as his image of Luo clan grew in his mind. Dragons were kings among spiritual beasts, with many powerful beings among them. Not even the 7 sacred mountains would mess with them, but the Luo clan did. Just who has their backs? Everyone's disdain of them was cut short then and there. The city lord gave them a long look, then declared, People, I believe you all know the value of a 5th grade sacred weapon. All of your treasures combined can't even match Luo clan and Sword Emperor's items, each, with Luo clans being slightly better. Besides me, Luo clan is the final house, followed by the Sword Emperor representative, then all of you according to your treasures. Objections? It's plain to see this is fair, so of course there aren't any. A grimacing old man took the demonic gauntlet as he turned to savage-looking young master. Wraith Scholar, your shadow veil is 4th grade. As the demonic emperor's representative, bet with me, with you being the house. The scholar had a creepy smile as he fanned himself with a ghastly fan, nodding, Sure, I shall be happy to face Thousand-Faced Devil. You ask first. No, it's your right as the house. With pleasure. Pa. Snapping the fan closed, the scholar said, Answer me this. Was it the demonic emperor the one who destroyed the 36 gates of Demon Light Castle 3 years ago? Thousand-Faced Devil's face shook, stammering, Wraith Scholar, why do you say that? Didn't you investigate and found it to be the Falcon Emperor? Yes, we thought so as well, but after fighting among each other and suffering losses, it was the demonic emperor who took advantage of the gap to step in. How do you explain that? What's so strange about them relying on the demonic emperor for protection to avoid casualties? None, actually, but in our war, neither side won, with the prideful demonic emperor expanding his domain for thousands of miles. It baffled both of us. Wraith Scholar snickered as he stared Thousand-Faced Devil down. You're his right-hand man, so I would like to hear it from you. Spare us both the trouble of lying, it won't work. Everyone here knows, I'm sure, just that there is no proof. The gambling emperor is known to be fair at the gambling table. If his people judge it to be a lie, you shall become the loser. Taking a deep breath, Thousand-Faced Devil eyed the cold city lord. He already had a decision in mind and knew the truth. Fine, I admit it to be the demonic emperor's doing. But that's because I only needed that cleared up. You win. Wraith Scholar snickered as he pushed his treasure over. The Wraith Emperor will be sure to join the Falcon Emperor to settle this debt with the demonic emperor. Tell him to be ready for a reckoning. Thousand-Faced Devil's face twitched as he took it. I will tell him. Farewell. Wraith Scholar stood up and cupped his hands, thanked the gambling emperor for his fairness. I shall now take my leave. The others looked puzzled as he went. Isn't this supposed to be a riddle? How come it became truth or dare? Bam! Thousand-faced devil slapped the table in anger. City Lord, is this the gambling emperor's intention? The gambling emperor only proposed betting, not involving himself in your issues. Now Sir has 2 items and can be the house. The City Lord smiled. Thousand-faced devil was outraged, but he held it in. Gambling emperor knew all along what happened then. He kept it hidden for so long not to gain hatred. With the 2 having no proof of hanging it over the demonic emperor's head, they could do nothing. Today, however, he had no choice but to admit it, thus giving them an excuse. It wasn't his fault though, since the demonic emperor gave him strict orders to get that map. If he denied it, he would have gotten back only to die. The demonic emperor's cruelty was well known. Taking a deep breath, Thousand-faced devil could only keep going. The demonic emperor was already tough enough not to fear the other 2. All that mattered was the map. So he turned to the Falcon Emperor's representative to shout, I'm the house now, please. The grizzled old man met his challenge. Thousand-faced devil did have some skill though, using his cunning and favoritism to pave his way forward and win many treasures. He was now facing Ruby Cloud Sect. How many stars are in the sky? With so many shining, who can say? Can you? Mei Sangu retorted. Thousand-faced devil snickered and shook his head. I don't either, making this a draw. But I'm the house, so that makes it my win. Hand it over. Thousand-faced devil threw the purple gold-glazed cup in his bag. Ruby Cloud Sect's group was stumped. Mei Sangu stammered, Wait, I've yet to ask my question. You did, or does that not count? City Lord smiled and shrugged. Gambling town is fair. Your question was the same as his, and with neither knowing the answer, the house won. The women grimaced. Zhuofan chuckled. The devil now turned to the old man with the white eyebrows, taking out his treasures as he spoke with hatred. Brother Lu, listen closely to my question. Wait. The old man smiled and said, I'm the house, so I go first. Go ahead. Guess how many toes I had on my 5,000th birthday? Thousand-faced devil looked down at his shoes, making a wild guess. 10. I've never heard of you suffering heavy wounds and shouldn't have anything cut off. The old man grinned, taking out a shoe to reveal all his 5 toes. Then his eyes shone and pointed. A bloody toe splattered on the floor. The old man sweated as he laughed. Today's my 5,000th birthday and only have 9 toes. You lose, thousand-faced devil. That's brutal. Thousand-faced devil gave him a long look, wanting to refute, but he pushed the treasure over. Fine old man, I lost. Now Lu was the house. Even in a draw with Sword Emperor, thousand-faced devil would still lose. Kid, it's our turn. The old man wiped his brow, dragging his bleeding foot to Zhuofan with a forced smile. What welcomed him was a smirk. Chapter 1205, Headache. Chapter 1205, Headache. Proofreader, Papatunks. Looking down at the blood, the ghastly scene made even Ruby Cloud Sect's girls cover their eyes. It shocked them to the core to find someone so resolute to even harm themselves. Zhuofan looked back up, giving the old man a snicker. Senior, you're playing hardball. Kid, youths have little experience. There are plenty of savager people in the world than me. You'll meet them later. Letting this little frighten you proves you have no place on this stage. Sir's lesson is right. I hope Sir will go easy on me. You're making it hard for these old bones. The Sword Emperor must have that map. I urge you to withdraw. Kid, you don't understand the world of adults. The old man patronized. Chu Qingqing was worried for Zhuofan. He looked wise and bold, making her feel like a kid would be no match for him. I just hope he won't push it and get hurt in the process. Zhuofan's eye held an eerie glow as he offered, Please. Kid, the young fear nothing, but will only end up broken. The old man stared at him, extending his wounded leg. Kid, the same question, How many toes did I have on my 5,000th birthday? Zhuofan snickered. With Senior having 9, then it must be 9. Huh, kid, you think I wouldn't cut another off? The old man drew his fingers and shot for the leg, and another bloody toe fell. The old man bore through the pain, looking smug. Wrong, it's 8. The people sighed. Against such a question, no one could guess as long as he keeps cutting off his toes. The kid met his match in an aged scoundrel. Whoosh! A black light flashed, and the old man Lu shook. Below him, blood spilled like a flood, followed by a searing pain. Ah! The old man howled as he fell to the ground, leaving 2 intact feet in the pooling blood. Zhuofan stood across, holding a black longsword glowing eerily. I was wrong after all. I mustn't know anything, I guess. But it looks like Senior was wrong as well. You didn't have 8 toes on your 5,000th birthday, but none, huh? Everyone shivered as their eyes bugged out. The old guy was the Sword Emperor's representative, that nobody dared to offend. Now a bone-tempering nobody did. Wait, how did he get the strength to cut an emperor's feet off? Chu Qingqing was frightened. She never saw Zhuofan cut someone down, but the familiar scene had her hesitating. Is he the same brat I've been cursing all this time? Senior uncle, are you all right? Su Zhenxing rushed to his side, then glared at Zhuofan. Why you dare? Zhuofan cut him off. What? Since Senior can change the outcome, why can't I? City Lord, how do we settle this round? Tai. The City Lord's face twitched, giving him an odd look. He didn't think this kid with low cultivation had it in him to be so cruel. Zhuofan grinned. I knew City Lord was fair. But that was his question, and now comes mine. Although, Senior doesn't look to be in shape to continue. Switch maybe? Humph, rotten punk, I'll take his place to bet with you. Su Zhenxing gnashed his teeth and stepped forward. He then felt his senior uncle pulling his sleeve as he lay in his own blood, looking worried. Senior uncle. Ashing, you're not his match. The old man was trembling as he looked at Zhuofan's vile smile. I was wrong. He's no youth, but a conniving old monster. Boy, you won't win. Su Zhenxing couldn't believe his ears. He was a great peak stage spirit king, yet he couldn't win against a bone-tempering punk. The other youths on stage looked baffled. Only a few veterans caught his meaning. Mei Sangu as well could see that Zhuofan's eyes were beyond shifty, her opinion of him changing into fright. The slash was too clean and without hesitation, coming at an emperor no less. Such nerves and savagery didn't come from just anywhere. It was an edge forged in endless bloodshed and over a mountain of corpses. How could a bone-tempering cultivator wield such experience? The old man gripped Su Zhenxing hard, gasping for breath as he gnashed his teeth. City Lord, we give up. You bet with him. Boy, this isn't over. I will get you for taking my 2 feet. Anytime. Zhuofan turned toward City Lord. Care to ask, City Lord? The City Lord looked grave. Steward Zhua, now I know why you wield a clan's power, having the skills to handle the job. Thanks. Here's my question. The City Lord paused. This is the Nether Sea map. I want to know that if you got the map, how sure are you of finding it? Everyone flinched at the question, focused on the two with rapt attention as they waited for the answer. Zhuofan smiled. I didn't even see the map, so how sure I can be? Like with any treasure map, I'll be doing my best. Is that enough? A perfect answer, since this answer comes from your heart. Take it. The City Lord handed the map to Zhuofan. Looking over the aged paper, Zhuofan said, just like that? I've yet to ask my question. You're the house and have the highest chance of winning? Steward Zhua's methods opened my eyes. I'm sure I can't answer it anyway. I lose, the City Lord said. Zhuofan paused, then showed a vague smile as he stashed the map in his ring. Thanks. Zhuofan waved and left with his group, under the hard stares of everyone there. One looked forlorn, stuck between women as she sighed. He won't even look at me once. On the road, Baliyu looked back to see no one, smirking. Here I thought the map was something special, but we got it easy. Easy. Zhuo Fan chuckled. Easy meant those people in there wouldn't have bled for it. Didn't you notice how pained the representatives were when taking out the treasures? Since it's so important, why isn't there anyone tailing us? Because it's just a map and not something you can use either. It's common practice of those relics to see the prize before jumping in. After we find the Nether Sea, those bastards are sure to charge, all of them. Zhuo Fan sneered. The map is no treasure, but a headache. They're all waiting for us to find the real deal before robbing us blind. Even the gambling emperor is no exception. Why do you think he never tried looking for it then? He had the map. I bet he couldn't figure the map out, so he went to find another that can while he lurks from behind. Why then would the other 7 go through such trouble? The other emperors haven't looked over the map, and while they knew it was hard to understand it, they still want to try, such as greed. If he did unravel it by any chance, wouldn't he get everything? Just like... Zhuo Fan trailed off. Back then, in 9 Serenities' tomb, he unraveled its mystery. Bali Yuyu nodded and said, since it's a headache, why did we fight for it? Couldn't we be another lurking shadow instead? Oh Yuyu, the shadows are all seasoned and famed geezers. Our Luo clan has yet to make a name for itself in sacred domain. Why hide? We're only using the map to knock on the 8 emperors' doors and enter the fray. Without it, there's no way for us to enter the 8 great lands of the sacred domain. Oh, so that's why. Who do we go to first? The demonic emperor, Zhao Qin. Zhuo Fan's eyes shone, his smile evil. Chapter 1206, Honey Traps. Chapter 1206, Honey Trap. Proofreader, Papatunks. Zhuo Fan stood in the center of a pitch-black room. He took out a black sword as his right eye shone in 2 golden halos. Divine Eye of the Void's 2nd stage, Void Annihilation. Bam! A ripple struck the sword, making it shiver. It then whooshed as it turned into a tan child. Sword Child had regained its freedom. Master, you're letting me out at long last. I was wrong and it won't happen again. Sword Child bowed on the spot. Zhuo Fan stared at it with a critical eye. Then where were you wrong? I disrespected my betters and was hard on young Master San. He is Master's godson and I'm just a sword. It was a clear breach in status and deco dash. Please, how is that your mistake? Zhuo Fan barked. You see no difference between friend or foe, having no control. You're jealous and reckless. As my sword, you are closest to me. But with young Sanzi as my godson, you wanted to replace him. That's why you taunted him so much, backing him into a corner until you had no other choice than to go for the kill. Tell me I'm wrong. Sword Child was silent. Zhuo Fan continued, you know that everyone around me is a person I cherish, a comrade and a friend, treating the Sword Kings and Elder Li's group the same way. I don't want them to feel left out and harbor ill will, leading to conflict. In any society or group, its end is sure to come by wasting all its energy on infighting. The Sword Star Empire fell because of Bailey Jingwei's rampant expansion, leading to 2 groups of Sword Kings forming and clashing. Young Sanzi is one of us. I don't want my sword and my people to be at their throats. Are we clear? Yes, Master. Don't call me Master, but Dad. Dad? Sword Child started. Zhuo Fan smiled. I told you, I don't want infighting, treating everyone as friends. You are born from my path, resembling me the most, and that makes you my son. Since you feel sour about young Sanzi, then I'll take you in as well, treating you both the same. He's your eldest brother, of equal status, and there's no reason to feel jealous. Yes, father. Sword Child beamed. Zhuo Fan warned, one last thing, as my spitting image, you know my standards. Demonic cultivators need not only be demonic, but have principles as well. None of us may ever be allowed to be heavy-handed on our own regardless of reason. It's no different than smearing your heritage and your ancestors, taking it out on your own people. Remember Demon Scheming Sex Xie Wuyue? If it were then that I've learned you had the same character as him, I wouldn't have been so light as your grandmaster was. Yes, father. I'll focus on my mentality and achieve Tao like you. I won't let demons take hold of me. Sword Child stood straight as he vowed. Nodding, Zhuofan patted his head and sighed. I can only hope. Bali Yuyu slipped in. Steward Zhua, someone's here for you. Who? Who else but a distressed damsel? Qingqing? Zhuofan raised an eyebrow, then nodded, I'll go right now. Zhuofan was practically running, with Bali Yuyu rolling her eyes. Steward Zhua, when do you plan on stealing that busybody from Ruby Cloud sect? Not now, we're not ready to take on the 8 emperors in the open. Also, Zhuofan smiled, the Ruby Cloud sect is where she grew up. Her heart is still there and using force is no different than killing her parents. She would hate me forever. Taking it one step at a time is better, starting with winning her heart. Once I ruin their ties, everything else will fall in place. Bali Yuyu rolled her eyes. How long will that take? I hear she's spoiled in the sect. All the elders favor her, even her master, that crone empress. That's what worries me. Those hags are conniving banshees. Qingqing has shown nothing extraordinary about her, so how could she have caught their eyes to such a degree? Zhuofan asked in a frown. Speaking of, I had Elderly look into Qingqing's past. Any news? None so far. He said he'll start once we're safe out of Gambling Town. Tell him to do it now. The Gambling Emperor's group is watching over the town. No one will try anything under their watch. Zhuofan said, also, with my other son here, safety won't be an issue. Tell him to get on it right away. Zhuofan patted Bali Yuyu's shoulder and left. She raised an eyebrow, looking oddly at Sword Child. Son? You became a son as well? I can't? You might say that I've been with my father day in and day out, every minute of the hour. Sword Child showed her a toothy grin. Why, wanna be my mommy? Bali Yuyu flushed and looked away, feeling defeated. Why does he only ever care about her? Zhuofan reached the dazzling lounge, meeting with a hesitant Qingqing pacing around. Qingqing, how did you get here? Zhuofan. His voice pulled her away from her worries and then she hung her head, her shoulders slumped. Zhuofan knew why. Is something wrong? Zhuofan. Just speak your mind, after all, there's no secret between husband and wife, right? How irritating calling me your wife. Qingqing glared at him with red cheeks, but her sadness returned once more. Zhuofan, I just don't know where to begin. Senior Aunt May wants you to give us the map. Zhuofan's brow shook, giving her a long look. Qingqing, you're putting me in a difficult position. You're my wife, yes, but the map belongs to my lord. I'm but a steward. Clan head saw greatness in me and took me in as steward. I could never betray his trust by taking what is his. I feel the same. Despite being a steward, you rely on others. Senior Aunt is asking for too much. Qingqing paused, then gnashed her teeth. Forget it, you don't have to feel bad, Zhuofan. I'll just tell them I failed. It's only going to get me a nagging at most. Qingqing walked away, but Zhuofan caught her shoulder. Wait, you're saying they're going to fault you for this? Yeah, Senior Aunt won't be hard on me, but my senior sisters will mock and deride me. Qingqing muttered. He took the forlorn Qingqing into his arms and said, My poor Qingqing, my dear wife, what did you do to suffer so? Why don't you leave Ruby Cloud sect and live with me? How could I? Master and senior aunts are so nice to me. I can take a bit of scolding. I could never betray them. Zhuofan knew this was coming and faked difficulty. While I can't give them the map, as long as they'll give you to me, I'll have them take a look at it. I'll have you know I'm an established painter. Give me to you? Yeah, just mention it to them. It's their problem if they agree or not. It won't have anything to do with you and they won't scold you. Zhuofan snickered, holding her close and cooing, Dear wife, I'm not saying that to demean you, only thinking of being together again. I would give anything for us to live together. Qingqing smiled, swooning. But then she scrutinized him. All right, but how did you cut Elder Lu's legs on the betting stage? You're not an emperor but a bone-tempering cultivator, I know. You must all be disgusted with me. No, ever since then, Senior Aunt May changed her opinion of you. How did you do it? Simple really. Zhuofan snickered. Speed, ferocity and accuracy. He was just ahead of me and complacent in his victory. I just needed something sharp enough and the result was clear to all. Not even a saint could escape from that. That can't be it. Senior Aunt said that a sword so fast could only be polished through mountains of corpses. How can you, at the bone-tempering stage? I'll be honest with you. I used to be a butcher. Zhuofan chuckled. Millions of pigs must have crossed these hands. Isn't that a mountain of corpses? Your senior aunt has good eyes, huh? Chu Qingqing nodded and exclaimed, I see, only there's a big difference between a murderer and a butcher. About the same, just look at people as pigs to the slaughter. You've been gone for quite a while now, should you head back? Tell them what I said and maybe we'll seal the knot. I'll become the mighty son-in-law of Ruby Cloud sect, huh? Annoying. Zhuofan urged Chu Qingqing to leave, flirting while at it. Chu Qingqing didn't mind it, just replying in good humor. Seeing her go, Zhuofan's face fell, gripping his fists. Rotten Ruby Cloud sect, trying to honey trap me with Qingqing? What do you take my wife for? Bastards! Zhuofan was calm. Since he had been here before, no need to panic, our spirits have gone into the orb. It won't harm us. Look, the map. Shuang drew their attention and pointed at the map expanding to the point of covering the entire area. The small black circles on the map now had stars shooting between them, turning it into an actual map. Zhuofan cheered. It's the Sacred Domain's map, but where's the Nether Sea? Over there, I think. Shuang pointed at a bright cluster. The poem mentioned lost souls. There is where the Death Star is, always dark and shining only when death is about to take you. Since it's bright, then that must be the Nether Sea's location, a place where lost souls are buried. Zhuofan was thrilled. Yes, that must be it. To think we'd figure it out in the end where the Nether Sovereign is. It was worth taking the map, huh? The girls were beaming as well, with Shuang looking worried. Big brother Zhuo, do you plan to go there? Of course. A sovereign's place is a special area anyone in Sacred Domain would drool over. Nether Sea is going to be very dangerous. Shuang sighed, raising a finger. Big brother Zhuo, look closer. What do you think this map is? Zhuofan raised his head and shook as his face grew hard. With the stars on the map joined together, they drew the map of the Sacred Domain. But on the edge of it, they showed only one character. Death. Zhuofan, the Nether Sovereign is warning us not to seek out the Nether Sea, or, Luo Yunchang looked worried as well. Zhuofan paused in thought then smiled. Well, of course a sovereign's seat of enlightenment would have some difficulties. Am I just going to miss out on this grand chance at witnessing the Nether Sovereign's seat of enlightenment? Zhuofan. All right, now, let's go back. Luo Yunchang wanted to say more, but Zhuofan stopped her. He had them brought back to their bodies and the black orb hummed, releasing the map. They got up and looked at the map with conflicted emotions. Zhuofan picked it up casually and placed it in his ring, but then doubt clouded his mind. Why did Sovereign Yun's treasure react with the Nether Sea map? He also warned me that his treasure can find any place and anyone. Qingqing is the one I wanted to find. As for the place, maybe it's... Zhuofan felt like someone was using him. Knock. Ahem, Steward Zhuo, young Miss Chu came. I got it, elderly. Zhuofan put away the orb and left. The girls watched him while recalling the Nether Sovereign's warning and worried again. They even forgot about their jealousy. Zhuofan reached the lounge and saw Chu Qingqing and put on a smile. Ha, wifey, it looks like we're made for each other. Are you ready for a long night with your husband? Miscreant. Chu Qingqing blushed and huffed. Zhuofan said, wait, they didn't agree. Regardless of what, I'm not something. Chu Qingqing pouted and so they were alone and whispered. Zhuofan, Senior Aunt May said to give the map first, even a copy. As for us, she needs to return to the sect and tell Master before. Chu Qingqing looked embarrassed, acting all shyly. Zhu Fan's eyes went cold. That biddy plans on welching out of the deal. But I'm not one to lose my head in front of a girl and fall for that. Zhu Fan didn't let his thoughts show. All right, I'll bring it right away. Zhu Fan was gone for moments, bringing a delicate box. Give it to Mei Sangu. What she wants is in there. Truly? Of course, our happiness is there as well. Zhu Fan smiled. Chu Qingqing beamed and nodded as she left. But after a step, she paused and pecked his cheek, running away with a flushed face. Zhu Fan felt his cheek with a goony smile. Chapter 1208, The Draw Map. Chapter 1208, The Draw Map. Proofreader, Papatunks. Senior Aunt, I brought it. Chu Qingqing bounced happily in a courtyard, calling in joy. The hopeful women had waited a long time to hear this. They welcomed her with Mei Sangu in the lead, looking pleased and greedy. Fang Min and the others behind her were boiling in envy. Qingqing, you've done well. Where is it? Here. Chu Qingqing beamed and Mei Sangu took the box with haste, her entire body shaking. Fang Min's tone dripped with vitriol. The day finally came junior sister's first honey trap mission. Though she lacks passion, only ending up with a copy instead of the real thing. I would have done it hands down. Senior sister, I didn't use any traps. We truly... Chu Qingqing lowered her head bashfully. Besides, the map is definitely with the clan head. If it went missing, he'll have to answer for it. He's already taking enough risk giving us a copy. We can't just... Mei Sangu was upright and honorable as she nodded. Yes, the boy shows his deep affection by doing this. We shouldn't be hard on him, since he couldn't do it anyway. It's good we at least got a copy, huh? Mei Sangu grinned from ear to ear as she was eagerly opening the box. Senior Aunt, what do you think then of his request? I'll tell Senior Sister once we get back. No rush. We'll do as Senior Aunt says. Chu Qingqing gave a sweet smile, lowering her head and fiddling with her clothes. She was like a chipper child that couldn't show her enthusiasm. Fang Min seethed at the side. What's so great about being with some ignorant and lousy punk? That's no reason to be content. Ugh. A weird shout drew Fang Min's attention. Looking over with joy, what is it, Senior Aunt? Is the map bad? No way. Zhu Fan wouldn't lie to me. Chu Qingqing started and rushed to see. She didn't worry about the map though, but that this would get her senior aunt to flip out. Mei Sangu had a deep frown, holding a shriveled paper with yellow lines on it. It looked like a map, sure, but a map of what? All those random lines made it hard to decipher. I knew the Nether Sea was cryptic, but to think that not even I can make sense of any of it. Senior Aunt, you actually believe it to be real? Fang Min looked it over. Maybe the punk just drew something random. Few have seen the Nether Sea map, with neither one among us. It'd be strange not to fool us. Chu Qingqing jumped in his defense. Senior Aunt, Zhu Fan was thoughtful the entire time, and even promised me to do his best in copying it to make sure it's identical. Senior Sister is just making things up. I'm making it up? You tell me then, what kind of map is that? We can't make anything of it. Minner. Mei Sangu glared, taking the map with joy. The fact you can't makes it real. The Nether Sea would have been a famous attraction by now if everyone could read it. I can also feel the kid's sincerity through this copy. What do you mean, Senior Aunt? Look, there's not a mark of a brush being used when drawing it. It's not uneven like others. Mei Sangu held her head high as she claimed, if he was faking it, then he would have left clear signs of drawing. With the Nether Sea being so special, there's no way the map was drawn with a brush. The more mystical the lines, the more genuine it is and proves his sincerity. These yellow stains as well, that must be where the Nether Sea is. All that's left is reading it. Mei Sangu paraded the map before the girls, leaving them speechless. Staring at the random and fading lines had them baffled. Chu Qingqing looked pleased as punch though. Ugh. Fang Min reeled, feeling like throwing up her lunch. She pointed at the map. What the hell did the punk use? That paper reeks of pee. Really? Mei Sangu gave it a sniff then flinched with a wince. Yeah, just what did he use? It doesn't look like ink at all. Chu Qingqing panicked, but she couldn't allow this hiccup to make her senior aunt loathe Zhuofan, so she changed the subject. Senior aunt, Zhuofan said using ink was out of the question when making the Nether's Sea map copy. Think about it, ink is black and wouldn't be able to outline such vague and mystical drawing. So he went through toil and pain to find a famous and perfect color to match it. Senior aunt, he's very sincere. Really? Mei Sangu raised an eyebrow, giving the map another look and nodded. Yes, it's hard to show the same result with ink and brush. The kid must have gone above and beyond to make this map. We'll set off tomorrow for the sect to hand over the map to sect leader. I believe she will be thrilled and will reward you greatly, especially you, Qingqing ha. Fang Min sneered in envy. Qingqing beamed and eased a breath. With this achievement, Master shouldn't care about Zhuofan's background. On the second day, bright and early, the Ruby Cloud sect set off with their copy. Through sheer and utter coincidence, however, the Luo clan happened to be at the city gates as well. Get ready for battle. Zhuofan was grave as he whispered to Bali Yuyu at his side, don't leave the hag out of your sight. Don't go easy, but don't go killing either. Bali Yuyu nodded, eager to fight. Mei Sangu beamed upon noticing them, showing an even greater respect for Zhuofan, going as far as greeting them all. Luo friends, are you leaving as well? What a coincidence, we're going too. Do we have the same direction as well? Probably not. Zhuofan started, looking out of sorts. Did they not look over the copy I gave them? Why are they so cordial and even greeting me? Bali Yuyu looked stumped at him. Weren't we up for a brawl? They see us more like friends than anything, without a shred of ill will. The Luo clan looked clueless as Mei Sangu showed a bright smile and cupped her hands at Zhuofan, practically rejuvenated on the spot. Steward Zhua, you're so young and able. I believe we will have many chances to work together in the future. Farewell. Mei Sangu left in a grand manner with her disciples. Chu Qingqing came before Zhuofan, winking and leaving in elation. A faint whisper happened to reach his sharp ears. Don't worry, senior aunt is pleased with you. We'll definitely succeed. Pleased? She's actually happy with my map? Zhuofan was floored, not registering as the girls left. The others were even more so. Zhuofan, didn't you say the hag would be hounding us through the city to kill us after seeing the map? We even had to get up so early for it. Why then was she pleased as punch? Bali Yuyu patted his shoulder. Maybe she'd be a real catch if she shed off a couple or more 1,000 years. Zhuofan took a deep breath. Something's off here. The hag saw my handiwork and didn't get angry? What handiwork? Just how did you draw it anyway? How? Didn't all of us learn how to draw since we were kids? Zhuofan looked awkwardly, mimicking some motions before giving up. Bali Yuyu was still clueless. When did we ever draw? I never raised a brush in my life, so how can I draw? Hey, Sword Child, what did your dad mean? Sword Child happened to pass over and she asked him. Sword Child showed a rather obtuse smile. To be my true mother, you must then understand how Dad draws. Hey, what's that supposed to mean? That I saw Dad take some random paper and whizzed on it. He waved it a couple of times to dry, then put it in the box. Sword Child snickered with a shrug. I'm but a sword spirit, so I've never drawn in my life. You humans, don't you pee since you were kids? You don't even know this? Dong. Bali Yuyu froze in place, looking at Zhuofan, now understanding as to why he thought that the hag would want him dead. Anyone in their right mind would explode being toyed like that, especially a senior. But is that hag slow in the head not to clobber it? I can barely hold back. Chapter 1209, Trouble Ahead. Chapter 1209, Trouble Ahead. Proofreader, Papatunks. Steward Zhua, I feel a lot of eyes on us after leaving the city. An hour on the rough road, an old man whispered in Juofan's ear. Juofan nodded. With the map with us, they won't stop spying on us until it's gone. Some think ahead while others will go for it on our way. We might have picked a long tail, but few of them will ever attack us. It doesn't matter. Yes. The old man left to walk with the others. 2 hours later, they arrived at a lofty mountain range. As the wind whistled, it signaled the arrival of men in black, in the hundreds. The leader had a familiar face, none other than the demonic emperor's representative, thousand-faced devil. Juofan welcomed him with a smile and a shake of the head, like master-like servants. I said Zhao Qin is fickle and impulsive, and his men are no different. Steward Zhuo, Luo clan. Thousand-faced devil ignored his complaints as he greeted with cupped hands. We have no bad blood between us. I know you are a grand clan and wish to be cordial still. In that regard, I hope you will offer up the Nether Sea map. I won't forget such a favor. Juofan smiled, walking forward and returning the gesture. Senior, we'd gladly offer anything else if it means befriending you, but as it happens, the Nether Sea map isn't anything but something won through our blood and sweat on the gambling stage. There's no reason at all to give it to you, Senior. Sorry. Steward Zhuo, spare me the empty pleasantries. I won't buy it. Thousand-faced devil eyed the rest, turning cruel. I don't know how tough the Luo clan is, or how many experts it has, but from what I see, the only one able to fight me is the Miss who met Mei Sangu. As for the rest, 20 spirit kings won't matter against my 100. You will all die. Steward Zhuo must have earned your position with your guile, so you should know this as well. Juofan was unmoved. Senior, you mean that no matter what we'll incur from it, you still have to rob us? Yes, I don't know your limits, but it can't be worse than suffering the demonic emperor's wrath. He will be sure to take my life if I don't return with the map. Since death is certain, in either case, I at least have some chance going against you, right? Yes, the unknown is scary, but it's also uncertain and, by extension, survivable. You're gambling we have no backing at the level of the 8 emperors, so attacking us won't be an issue. Juofan's eyes shone. Congratulations, you win. We really aren't at the 8 emperors level. Your plan to pick on the weak is a success, but too bad you're the weaker one in this situation and made the wrong call. You don't have enough men to take us on. Thousand-faced devil sized them all up, laughing. Steward Zhuo, bluffing now, are you? Yes, the peak stage spirit king young miss is comparable to an emperor without a doubt, but don't go telling me you have more of such monsters. At the same cultivation, the strengths of everyone is almost the same, which makes it a matter of numbers. That is where you lose. Quality, not quantity, is what the Luo clan favors, haha. Juofan snickered and patted Sword Child's head. Son, bring me his head intact. Yes, father. Sword Child bowed and took 2 steps forward, his eyes glimmering. Thousand-faced devil gasped, You're sending a child to take my head? What a joke. Whoosh. Black flashed in front of him. With a faint breeze, the sharp sword wave flared across his forehead. Thousand-faced devil was startled, ducking just inches from the attack, taking some hair and leaving him soaked in sweat, the strands drifting in the wind. But then came the second strike. Fearful as he was now, a whirlwind kick came from below, aiming to relieve him of his head. Thousand-faced devil felt death nearing and leaned sideways to dodge and jump 1,000 meters back, away from the danger. Looking ahead, the sight shocked him stiff. The one who almost took his life was none other than the scrawny child. His kick did not touch him, but the force behind it unleashed a sword wave that reaped 10 lives. The bodies turned to mist, cutting thousand-faced devil's 100 spirit kings to 90. Success. Gasping, everyone went pale. Thousand-faced devil was shaken to the core, his bravery gone as he looked at Sword Child in utter dread. It was beyond him how a 7-year-old wielded such deadly power. Is he even human? Thousand-faced devil felt his worldview come crashing down on him. Sword Child was, of course, a sovereign weapon, sharp and deadly. Not even a sacred beast could match his toughness, let alone humans. Boy, you're quite springy for an old man. Sword Child huffed, snickering at Thousand-Faced Devil. The latter felt his skin crawl, then noticed the casual Luo clan. Bali Yuyu, the pseudo-emperor, didn't lift a finger, with only the little freak causing so much damage. This made it so the Luo clan had 2 emperor-level experts and would be deadly if the others joined as well. His advantage in this highway robbery had now flown out the window. Thousand-Faced Devil sighed, thinking of backing off, but a look at the glaring Bali Yuyu and Sword Child told him he had to pay for starting this. At least an emperor had an emperor's advantage, one a spirit king couldn't cover. Thousand-Faced Devil's eyes flashed and he made a sign. As his hands moved, ghastly faces appeared in the air. Imperial Mark, Thousand Faces Slaughter. Thousand-Faced Devil flew in the air and then vanished. The wind stirred and 1,000 golden 100-meter-tall ghastly faces appeared from above. Now you know why they call me Thousand-Faced Devil. Thousand-Faced Devil was hidden among those faces, cackling. My Imperial Mark is made of a Spirit King-level soul attack for every face. Not a full attack but 80% strong at the very least. Now I have 1,000-men army. Boy, your monsters might be tough and can live through this, but what about the rest? Especially you, Steward, and your young miss. You're too weak and an easy target. Know when to give up. Hand over the map. Bam! Sword Child waved and smashed a face in disdain, nothing but parlor tricks, crumbling at a touch. Hi, I told you it's not for you too. With your strength, you can beat one, but what about 1,000? Also, my faces can reform after beaten. How long will you last, I wonder? Following his creepy laughter, another face formed, completing the set of 1,000. Sword Child waved, making the air warp from the heat. Then let's see which will last longer, your faces or my searing strikes. Humph, decimating sword art, rampant inferno. Fires sparked to life out of nowhere throughout the sky, making the faces tremble and crumble to dust. The 1,000 faces were burned to nothing in an instant, with incessant cackling still coming from above, only this time, it was one of agony. Sword Child showed his evil side as he sneered, now you know what I'm made of. Don't move. A shout caught their attention as a boiling hand grabbed Zhuo Fan's neck. Chapter 12:10, Two Heads. Chapter 12:10, Two Heads. Proofreader, Papatunks. A thousand-faced devil panted hard with a wan and sweaty face, a clear sign of weakness. Sword Child and Bali Yuyu flinched, only to relax the next moment upon seeing he picked Zhuo Fan of all the targets. Not registering the casualness the others had, Thousand-Faced Devil roared, "Give me the Nether Sea map or it's off with his head." He gripped Zhuo Fan's neck tighter. The Luo clan didn't seem to care much. Did you not hear me? Even in the bone-tempering stage, isn't he still your steward? Don't you care if he lives or dies? Splitting art, so you're a former assassin, senior. Thousand-Faced Devil grew tense at the unexpected reactions, or lack thereof. The one to finally give him any attention at all was the same one who he held hostage, splitting your spirit into many to confuse the enemy, then snatching victory amidst the chaos. It must be quite the skill indeed for not even I to pick up on it. It also gives the enemy the chance to break them down one at a time. Knowing the spirit is exposed, even at the Spirit King level, it's still very fragile. Showing such weakness can be fatal in an Emperor stage battle. The devil met Zhuo Fan's taunting eyes and snapped, "What do you know of such a high-level battle? Shut your trap or I'll snap your neck." You should have done that from the start when you had the chance. A shame an assassin should be focusing on speed and killing, not on taking hostages. You doomed your assassin profession the instant you left killing aside. Thousand-Faced Devil gave him a long look, clueless about where he was getting at. I'm an emperor and I'm supposed to kill a bug like him from the start? I control his life and can take it whenever I want. Why? Crack. The snapping sound made Thousand-Faced Devil shiver, feeling his hand going numb and him being unable to move it. His eyes grew wide as he saw Zhuofan's right hand glowing red and gripping the same arm tight like clamps. How can? Thousand-Faced Devil's face twitched, wanting to squeeze his fingers and crush Zhuofan's neck. A shame his hand was frozen, unable to budge. It was, in fact, pulled away by an incredible force, out of his control. Why you? Thousand-Faced Devil gawked at the hand gripping his, then at Zhuofan's creepy smile. Fear took its hold on his mind, roaring, "How can you have such power? A bone-tempering cultivator. Ha, I told you, your assassin career is at an end." Zhuofan's eyes grew cold and he snapped his Qilin arm to the side. Thousand-Faced Devil's weakened body snapped from the shoulder as he flew away without his arm, leaving a bloody trail. Whoosh! Before he got to taste the agony of having his arm yanked out of his socket, something black flashed in front of his horrified eyes, a sword slash. Whoosh! A head rolled in the air, falling in a small hand. Thousand-Faced Devil's headless body spurted blood for a few moments, then plopped. His men saw their boss off like nothing and lost all courage, flying away in panic. Zhuofan's group let them go, holding them in disdain. Of all the people here, taking Steward Zhuo hostage is like signing your own death warrant. Dad, here's his head. Sword Child presented the shocked and terrified head to Zhuofan. He nodded and put it in his ring before signaling the others to resume their journey. Minutes after they left, many men in black appeared at this bloodbath, before vanishing once more. In a manor in Mist City, the city lord heard the scouts' report and turned pensive. "You're telling me the Luo clan had an easy time dealing with Thousand-Faced Devil's team? They definitely aren't a normal group to not care about the demonic emperor's opinion. Have you found anything about them?" "City Lord, we've long since sent people to Joy Town, and there is such a clan there. But with the location being so remote, it'll be hard to find anything from their past. From the passing traders, we did find that the town has been around for thousands of years, far from the secular world and from the power struggles of the sacred domain. Why would this monster rise up now of all times, after thousands of years? And so flashy too." The city lord paused. "I'll need to report this to the gambling emperor. Something isn't right about this group, messing with the 8 emperor's people and even stealing their things." 2 months later, in a dark hall, only a pair of eerie eyes were seen coming from the seat of honor, with the city lord kneeling below, reporting Gambling Town's events. A bright smile appeared below the eyes. How amusing! Of all the famed 8 emperors, none won my gamble. The victor turned out to be some unknown clan from nowhere. Gambling Emperor, the Luo clan has many people of great talent. Their steward, Zhuofan, has low cultivation yet holds such a position. His conduct is calm and calculative, while the guards are firm and resolute. They're more than meets the eye. Of course, while life is a constant fight and luck plays a large role, by lacking strength as well, luck can only get you so far. I could never look down on such a clan. Ha! The gambling emperor smiled. So they killed the demonic emperor's men, inciting the butcher. What will his reply be? If they hold an emperor's power, they have no reason to fear. Otherwise, their choice is to seek their backer or find shelter with the other 7. This will make the next owner of the map known. Where will they go then? The city lord bowed. Gambling emperor, the scouts following them say they're going toward Devil Mountain. What? Gambling emperor finally showed a reaction, the eyes stunned for a moment. Having killed his men, the demonic emperor is bound to hunt them down till the end of days, and yet they're knocking at his door. What's the Luo clan up to? They believe that they have the power to fight with the demonic emperor and settle it? The gambling emperor frowned, with the city lord unable to provide an answer. Meanwhile, a lavish and jaded jar crumbled as it met the hard floor. An imposing youth wore a scowl in anger as he jumped to his feet and stared down at the shivering men in black below. Not only did you not get the Nether Sea map from Gambling Town, but of those I sent, One is missing and the other got killed by some nameless and unknown little group, no less. Demonic Emperor, sir, the Luo clan is a mystery that we can't deal with, one man ventured, shaking like a leaf. Unlike Zhuo Fan's calculative and deceitful nature, Zhao Chen was more of a petty and impulsive prick. Once in power, he never stopped lusting for more, expanding his domain. His handling was cruel as well, worse than Zhuo Fan. His reckless reputation sent fear in his enemies but also his men. Zhao Chen gave them a sinister smile. Can't deal with it? Thousand-faced devil took 100 spirit kings yet couldn't handle one lousy clan? What use do I have of you then? Garbage! Zhao Chen roared, and the one who reported got split into bloody chunks with a splat. The others trembled in terror. Sir, please calm down. Humph, every day I hear the same thing. You only had to show a bit of courage and do what I told you to, and I wouldn't have to take my rage on you. Zhao Chen flicked his sleeve. What of the Luo clan? Where are they? We don't know. You don't? Demonic Emperor, sir, they killed Thousand-Faced Devil and we didn't try. Garbage. Zhao Chen threw his hand and more than 10 people went splat, covering the floor in blood and gore. The rest cowered back. A voice came from outside. Demonic Emperor, someone's here to seek an audience bearing gifts. Gifts? Zhao Chen was curious. Bring it here. 2 boys walked in with 2 exquisite boxes and placed them on the ground. Zhao Chen flicked a finger and 2 bloody heads were revealed. Chapter 12:11, Protections. Chapter 12:11, Protection. Proofreader, Papatunks. Zhao Chen stared at the familiar faces, his shocked voice breaking the brief silence. Thousand-Faced Devil, Huang Fusong? What are their heads doing here? Guard, who brought them here? Demonic Emperor, sir, they call themselves the Luo clan of Joy Town and are outside the mountain waiting to see you. A guard rushed in, looking fretful in the face of Zhao Chen's rage. Zhao Chen's face twitched in disbelief. Luo clan, as in the same one? They dare bring my men's heads? They've gone too far. Seize them and drag them in here. I want to see what the hell they are up to. Yes. His men went to follow his orders and brought a man and a woman surrounded by black guards into the hall. Looking at his old place, it took Zhuo Fan back to the good old days. The only thing spoiling his reminiscing was seeing Zhao Chen unchanged after thousands of years. He showed a savage grin, yet bearing no hatred. Zhao Chen shivered as their eyes met, feeling an uncanny familiarity. His heart began to race with fear and even staggered back. Pa! One man in black bowed. Demonic Emperor, sir, they are the Luo clan's people that brought the heads. We await your orders. Leave. Zhao Chen never took his eyes off Zhuo Fan, losing all his anger as he gave a numb wave. All of you leave. Right. The men shared puzzled looks, finding Demonic Emperor's demeanor off, like he wasn't himself. It was their first time hearing his kind voice, so they left on the double. Zhuo Fan, Bali Yu and Zhao Chen were the only ones left, as well as the bloody floor with the corpses. Zhuo Fan smiled at the stiff face, cupping his hands. Demonic Emperor, your reputation precedes you. I am Steward Zhuo of the Luo clan. Here is my guard, Bali. It's an honor to finally meet the great Demonic Emperor. Your name feels familiar. Zhao Chen squinted, lost for a moment before saying, not just the name, but also the character. No, it's not the same. He was never one to be casual, and never lowered himself to become some steward. No, it's definitely impossible for a dead guy, ha. Zhuo Fan smiled. Demonic Emperor, what are you saying? Nothing. Zhao Chen snapped back to reality, his face going cold as he stared at the heads. Steward Zhuo, was it? What is the meaning of this? Your show of force, or challenge? No, Demonic Emperor, sir, this is the clan head's gift. He wishes for you to gladly accept it. Gift? You kill my men and bring me their heads and you call it a fricking gift? Bam! Zhao Chen slammed the table in anger. No one does that. Explain yourself, or not only will you meet your end here but the entire Luo clan will be wiped out. I'll take all your heads to trample them on the way to hell. Zhao Chen's explosive aura swept the hall, making Bali Yuyu shiver back. The 8 emperors are way stronger than common emperors. Zhu Fan faced the pressure, shouting as well, "Demonic Emperor, sir, please hear us out. After that, you're free to take our heads without any complaint." "Speak." Zhao Chen eyed them. Stretching his collar, Zhu Fan smiled. "Demonic Emperor, sir, did you perhaps send someone to attack the Ruby Cloud sect's disciples and steal their purple gold-glazed cup?" "No," Zhao Chen said casually after a moment. Zhu Fan beamed. "I thought so as well. The demonic emperor would never stoop as low as do something like this to the Ruby Cloud sect leader, one of the 8 emperors. It would not only stain your name but would make another strong enemy without any reason. Why ever go through all that grueling trouble?" But he announced himself as one of demonic emperor's aides, dropping Sir's name while saying it was your idea all along. I did not want him to yammer on and make Sir's life worse, so I was swift in removing this bandit to preserve Sir's name. Was I wrong? Zhu Fan pointed at the first head, smiling. Zhao Chen was non-committal and thousand-faced devil? Demonic Emperor, sir, was it not you who instigated the Demon Light Castle issue 3 years back, making Wraith Emperor and Falcon Emperor wage war, gaining the most in the process? Nonsense. That was their own problem born from their animosity. What does that have to do with me? Zhao Chen's heart sank, denying everything. Zhu Fan gave a natural nod, but of course, Demonic Emperor Sir could have never have done such a thing. Thousand-faced devil must have run his mouth in Gambling Town, making you the scapegoat. Now Wraith Emperor and Falcon Emperor joined hands to deal with you. I could not stand letting such a man live any longer. What? Zhao Chen darkened, then flicked his hand. Fine, let those geezers come. I'm not scared of them. Zhu Fan made a deep gesture of respect. Demonic Emperor Sir is so heroic, with those 2 beneath you. But what about 3 or 4 emperors? Haha, fear not an able opponent but an incompetent ally. With a foul aide like Thousand-Faced Devil and the other poisoning the well outside and earning Sir enemies, Sir is bound to become public enemy number 1. No one can face entire crowds by himself, even someone as heroic as Sir. Zhao Chen's face twitched, his fists clenched, his teeth grinding. As such, we took it upon ourselves and did Sir a favor by removing these scumbags. Didn't we do Sir a great favor? Zhu Fan beamed. Zhao Chen stared into his eyes, still looking uneasy. These dogs might be in the wrong, but only I get to punish them, and not an outsider. With them dead, my forces weakened. How am I to handle it then? Demonic Emperor Sir, out with the old, in with the new. It's no trouble at all if they're gone, not when you have the Luo clan to fill in the gap, ha. Zhu Fan gave a weird smile, bowing. Our clan head admires the Demonic Emperor's heroism, wishing to stand among the 8 emperors since young. So we came to join you. I ask that Demonic Emperor gives us a spot. Of course we're not going to be like those 2 boneheads, for we are far superior than them in every way, be it in strength or handling matters. This way, they didn't die to outsiders, but removing the filth in Sir's stead. Zhao Chen shook hard, gasping, "You want my protection?" Of course, there's no reward without effort, which is why we went out of our way to showcase our results and receive Sir's protection. Zhu Fan's hand shone and took out an aged paper. He offered it with 2 hands, making Zhao Chen jump in joy, the Nether Sea map. Yes, we know Sir wants it and went through hell and high water to bring it to Sir. Zhu Fan smiled, glancing at the ghastly heads with derision. Also, this is our chance to prove our use to Sir. The 2 lost their lives and couldn't get it while we did. I am confident Sir would be pleased to have us. Zhu Fan nodded as he smiled wildly, but then he hesitated. Why is it you chose me of all the 8 emperors? And don't tell me it's out of admiration or some flowery speech. I want the truth. Demonic Emperor Sir is a man of many values. I knew we made the right choice. The 2 shared a nod before Zhu Fan turned to Zhao Chen. I'll be perfectly honest. The Luo clan has been hiding in Joy Town for millennium. To come out of that hole, we needed an emperor on our side. We had to make a choice from among them. Sir can also see that with our strength it'd be easy to have any emperor's favor. The first that took our notice was, of course, the head of the 8 emperors, the Sword Emperor. Alas, Sword Emperor has the highest demands and the greatest power. Like they say, it's better to be a leader among men than a grunt among giants. We feared that we had no room to grow under the Sword Emperor, giving up. As for the rest, they're all geriatric and washed up, pedantic and outdated, hardly able to help us rise among their people. Only Demonic Emperor, sir, with your youthful valor, is the perfect choice to work for, your right hand. Chapter 12:12, Give and Takes. Chapter 12:12, Give and Take. Proofreader, Papatunks. Zhao Chen approved as he nodded, elated at the praise. Good eye. I see your clan head is an educated man. I'm not one to brag, but among the 8 emperors, only I have such strength and right to be the head among all emperors. It's only a matter of time before the decrepit Sword Emperor will be replaced. That's what our clan head's been saying as well, although. Yes. We killed 2 of Sir's men and going to another emperor would keep us safe, if only for a while before we'll suffer your retribution. Being the target of the demonic emperor's wrath is like having a viper stalking you. We'll never get a wink of sleep. Only under Sir's protection could we be friends instead and resolve this animosity. Zhuo Fan sighed. Regardless of everything, our best choice had and always will be demonic emperor. Zhao Chen gave him a long look, good thinking and impeccable analysis. Yes, you've made the perfect choice in coming here with these fools' heads. Who was it, though, that came up with this brilliant tactic? Zhao Chen's eyes shone, somewhat eager. Demonic Emperor, sir, Steward Zhua is our clan head's trusted man. With him helping clan head every step, it is only his duty to help clan head make a decision. That was Bali Yuyu's cue, and she came forward with a cupped hand. Zhuo Fan shook his head in modesty. Please, I only offered simple advice. Clan head had the final say. Steward Zhua, take credit where it's due. As a bone-tempering cultivator, to stand next to clan head is only possible by showcasing your impressive talent. Bali Yuyu mocked. Demonic Emperor, sir, please overlook Steward Zhua's paltry cultivation, for in the Luo clan, he even has clan head's ear. Otherwise, clan head's inclination would be towards the Sword Emperor with so many of our clan's guards practicing the sword. Zhao Chen stared hard at Zhuo Fan, only then noticing he was dealing with a bug. Belying his low cultivation, the guy was very well placed, in fact. This further proved his talents lay elsewhere. From what the woman says, the guy must be quite the deep thinker. Blasted, that's exactly the talent I'm missing. Zhao Chen walked forward taking Zhuo Fan's hand with a smile. Haha, it's so rare to find a true strategist these days, Steward Zhua. I truly need someone like you for Devil Mountain. Leaving it up to those fools will run all its millennium-long legacy into the ground. Demonic Emperor, sir, you're too kind. Then the Luo clan. Say nothing more. Of the 20 demon guards, 36 cities and 64 clans, as you replace Thousand-Faced Devil, you shall be above every one of them. Zhao Chen slapped his chest, vowing, I shall declare the Luo clan as my loyal subjects, with Steward Zhua my right-hand man. Any that touches you will earn my wrath. Demonic Emperor, sir, shouldn't it be clan head who has my position? What's the difference? You help Luo clan head and he helps me. Isn't it all the same? Why be so complicated about it? That goes beyond my authority. Shouldn't sir address clan head first? What's the point? What I say goes. Guard, prepare a feast to welcome Steward Zhua. Devil Mountain was all a cheer for the next 3 days, with Zhao Chen giving Zhuo Fan a proper welcome. He also declared to all sacred domain that the Luo clan fell in with Devil Mountain. The Luo clan became the leader of the 20 demon guards and Zhuo Fan became Zhao Chen's personal advisor. Another 10 days passed and Zhao Chen gave 20 towns under the Luo clan's supervision. Fan and Bailey Yu thus took their leave from Demonic Emperor to help the Luo clan handle the transition. Leaving the mountain, Fan looked back at the lush peak and sighed. I used to be all alone, with but a few arrays guarding the mountain. I never thought I'd see the day it would be crowded, no longer the paradise of old. That kid hasn't changed, in contrast, still fighting for power like everyone else. Humph, to think that in my time, even without any territory of my own, I was still the head of the 8 emperors. Imbecile, what are you doing going after so many things? You've brought nothing but shame to this famous mountain. What are you doing coming under his wing then? Bali Yu replied, shouldn't we be using others to finish him off? Now that we work for him, we're under his men's watch and won't be able to lift a finger against him. Fan smirked, in war you have to give first and then take. Any person or faction crumbles from within in the end, with the outside influence holding little effect on its fate. We are now like maggots inside his home, nibbling everything he has. Don't the 20 cities prove it? Ha! Fan walked with confidence. Bali Yu followed after him with a soft gaze. In Gambling Town, the shocking news of the Luo clan joining Demonic Emperor reached everyone's ears. In Mist City Lord's manor, the Gambling Emperor held a jade slip behind a curtain. Luo clan actually became the Demonic Emperor's first demon guard? This is too baffling, almost unbelievable. Gambling Emperor, they must have offered the map to quell Demonic Emperor's anger. No! Gambling Emperor waved, watching City Lord from beyond the curtain. I know his temper well, reckless, pig-headed, and quick to anger. The most the Luo clan could get out of that deal is survive, not become his guard, going as far as making him the head of his 20 demon guards. It makes no sense at all for a rash and hot-headed man to swing from rage to elation at the drop of the hat. Especially that Demonic Emperor. Does that mean the Luo clan got a high status in Devil Mountain through other means? Definitely, for even giving the map without the animosity, they'd still wouldn't get placed so high. The deal stinks to high heaven. The Gambling Emperor squinted. Did the Demonic Emperor also mention in his declaration that he made the Luo clan's steward his right-hand man? Yes, that's him, but it's so strange. The Luo clan is now the first demon guard and its representative should be their clan head, not the steward. Then everything must have had something to do with that steward. The Gambling Emperor smiled. How amusing, the steward is fascinating. Men, never leave him out of your sight. I want to know the full extent of his skills and what miracles he brings. Yes. The space warped. In a dark room, 2 shadows sat across from each other. Did you hear? That arrogant Luo clan that was in Gambling Town got the Demonic Emperor's protection. And aren't we going to act? Of course we are, but everything about the Luo clan is strange. Anything could happen. What's so great about some no-name clan showing up? Demonic Emperor made us lose half our lands. We have to take it back on our titles as emperors. I heard that the 7 sacred mountains intends to move on to the 8 emperors. One of the weaker ones might even get replaced. Then, the man hesitated. Fine, then if we have to strike, we'll go after the Demonic Emperor. The Luo clan wants to have a protector to spread its wings, but they've made the wrong choice. In the Ruby Cloud sect, a woman in her 40s sat in the main seat holding a yellow paper with a grimace. Junior sister, are you certain this is a copy of Nether Sea map? Definitely. Just look at the vague lines and the faded landscape. No brush could ever leave such artistry behind. Mei Sangu looked proud as she explained. Her disciples bobbed their heads, even Chu Qingqing. Mei Sangu was happy to give Chu Qingqing the credit. Senior sister, it's all thanks to Qingqing using a honey trap to get that boy to forget all dangers in making this copy. Senior aunt, that was not a honey trap. Didn't we clear that out? Chu Qingqing smiled as she implored her. Master, Fan said he wanted me to leave the sect and have a normal life. Nonsense. You're the pillar of the sect. You can't just go with any man that talks to you. Mei Sangu glared at her. Chu Qingqing got anxious. But senior aunt, you clearly promised. What? I only said we'll return to report to senior sister. If she doesn't agree, that's that. You. That's enough. Looking at them all red, the woman raised a hand. Regardless of honey trap or Ching Chung promising the boy, it no longer matters. This map is fake. Fake? That can't be. Look at the lines. Not made by a human, right? The woman sneered, to be so smug when the other fooled you so badly. No man made the map true, but also untrue, since no brush was used. Ugh. Mei Sangu blinked in confusion. Chapter 12-13, Warts. Chapter 12-13, War. Proofreader, Papatunks. The woman shook her head and chuckled. You all, high up on your perch, made you forget the basic human nature. Basic nature? Don't common people eat, drink, and relieve themselves? She threw the yellow paper in Mei Sangu's hand, smiling. Remember when raising Ching Ching that she drew the same map up to 4 times a day? And that smell, it just never gets old, huh? What? Mei Sangu gave the copy another sniff, finally coming to an explosive revelation. Senior sister, you're saying that fricking punk relieved himself on this paper? What do you think? This is absolutely outrageous. Mei Sangu flipped out, flicking her hands with lightning speed, tearing it in drifting pieces on the ground. The thought of having treated that foul thing as treasure for so many months, tracing its every mystical line and making her hands reek, she keeled over and emptied her stomach on the spot. Fong Min and the disciples sniffed their own hands and couldn't wait a second more to wash their hands. They were elegant ladies, yet had to touch such filthy and repugnant things. Chu Qingqing shook her head in disbelief. No, that can't be. He wouldn't lie to me. Why would he use such a thing to toy with me? Humph, dumb girl, he was only messing around and never truly cared about you one bit. You still went on playing the honey trap, when the other played you instead. You even dared to involve ourselves. How worthless! Fong Min spat. Chu Qingqing lowered her head, her heart crushed with heartache. On her first time leaving the sect, the first man she ever felt something for was Zhuo Fan. They were such a good match together, wanting to remain like this, but it turned out that Zhuo Fan had been toying with her. He could have just said the map couldn't be copied. Why did he have to lie to me? Are senior sisters right, that he's only using me and never really cared? How could I be so foolish to not see it? In Gambling Town, he had so many pretty women around, so why would he care about some plain girl instead? As her bleak outlook turned forlorn, Chu Qingqing's heart sank. The woman on the main seat coughed. Qingqing, men are fickle, so don't let them get to you. You have your destiny with you and are much better off without those fools. Focus on cultivation. Chu Qingqing deflated and gave a weak nod as tears brimmed her eyes. Senior sister, I can't do anything right, letting some brat get the best of me at my age and even bringing such filth back to the sect. I deserve to be punished. Mei Sangu looked ashamed. The woman waved her worries away. We have thousands of years of experience, making our childhood memories vague. The disciples are also sensible to not encounter such an event. It only came to mind because I've been looking after Qingqing all these years. She is my dear precious disciple, making these memories deeper, huh? Master! Chu Qingqing was touched. Unable to overcome the sadness within, she started bawling. Fong Min huffed in envy. Damn this girl, throwing tantrums. She didn't help the sect one bit, yet Master still treats her so nicely. Where's the fairness gone to? Mei Sangu only grew angrier and roared, rotten cretin. Senior sister, I'm going after him and putting him in his place or he'll think Ruby Cloud sect is a pushover. The woman caressed Chu Qingqing's hair, her eyes flashing. Sect leader, Devil Mountain made a declaration to the entire sacred domain. A sharp voice came from outside and a girl floated in to present a jade slip. The woman took the jade slip and shouted, Sangu, you don't have to go. He's untouchable. Wah. Take a look at yourself. He and the Luo clan are now cherished men of demonic emperor. Going after him means waging war. What? Mei Sangu snatched the jade slip and gave it a quick read, her face fuming. Damn it. They must have given the real Nether Sea map for his status so the dog would have a master. We can't do anything to him now. Fang Min and the rest were shocked. The Luo clan sure works fast, getting the demonic emperor's protection in such a short time. The leading woman shook her head. Don't worry, they won't be safe for long. When their protector falls, we'll get them and make them pay for Qingqing. What? The others blinked in doubt. Three months later, Zhuo Fan handled the transition of the 20 cities Zhao Chen gave to the Luo clan who happened to be under the two he killed. There would always be some trouble when such a change occurred, from some ignorant fools trying to take over or others such overambitious people. 3 months to settle all that was not nearly enough. The Luo clan, however, moved with power and speed. Adding to them Murong Lai, Lu Mubai and the other sword kings, all the trouble became trifles. The 20 cities fell into their hands, finally making it officially Luo clan's second turf in sacred domain, thousands of times bigger than Joy Town. It wasn't meant to last, as barely after the Luo clan set up their operations, they met a huge issue. The Three Emperors' War. Steward Zhuo, Featherwind City has noticed suspicious activity outside its walls. A guard bowed before Zhuo Fan. Zhuo Fan frowned. Featherwind City is next to Wraith Emperor's lands. Do Wraith Emperor and Falcon Emperor prepare to move? Big Brother Zhuo, do we act? Luo Yunhai came over to ask. Luo Sifan spoke with pride. Let them try. We have nothing to fear with the demonic emperor watching over us. The Luo clan isn't the only one fighting in this. We have reinforcements. Not happening. Zhuo Fan glared at the two. You think of yourselves shielded and want to fight them? Even with covered backs, it'll be our Luo clansmen who will die out there. Why should we take such losses? Luo Yunhai nodded. I can understand that, but we are at the border of the demonic emperor's lands. Are we to retreat if not attacking? Retreating will ruin this rare chance of getting in the 8 emperors conflict. Then, get the best of 2 worlds by watching them slaughter each other. This grudge is between the 3 of them and we can stay clear. How is the question? Zhuo Fan mused with a flickering gaze. Another person burst in with a new jade slip. Steward Zhuo, demonic Emperor Zhao Chen requests your presence. I was about to go see him as well. Zhuo Fan grinned, taking the jade slip and leaving for Devil Mountain with Bali Yuyu, taking 3 days to arrive. The demon guard knew them and let them in. In the hall, they bowed before Zhao Chen. Greetings, demonic emperor. Steward Zhuo, please sit. Zhao Chen impatiently gestured at the chairs. Steward Zhuo, I believe you know by now why I called for you, having taken over the 20 cities I gave you. Zhuo Fan nodded. The Wraith Emperor's forces show increased activity. They have ill thoughts. Not just that, but they want to settle the score from years ago. Zhao Chen huffed and flicked his hand. The Falcon Emperor's men are acting up on the other side as well. The two must have planned it to pincer me. Do they really think they can beat me with this? Steward Zhuo, I called for you to ask how the Luo clan is handling the 20 cities. Are you ready to block Wraith Emperor's forces? Zhuo Fan paused. Demonic Emperor, sir, the Luo clan is still new here, struggling to get all the local thugs in check. Now that the enemy is coming from outside, getting complete control in just 3 months is a little. Alright, I know where you're going with this, but escaping this war is impossible. Now how many men do you need? I'll give them to you. I want to let them know that even with both against me, I'll still crush them. They want to settle things over? Humph, they're far from worthy. Zhao Chen's eyes shone with cruelty. Zhuo Fan muttered, Demonic Emperor, sir, the way I see it, avoiding a war is the best option. You're tuning in to the Passion Pages YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.